Hey, Greg.
Hey, what's up?
Not a lot. I can add myself into the stream now. It's amazing.
Nice.
I'm not going to abuse that power ever. Uh, I just installed a new graphics driver on my computer, so that's good. It hasn't
Nice.
been. I haven't had. I haven't. It's dumb because I thought it updated automatically, but I haven't had a new driver on this computer for a year. So
Yeah, you gotta check that shit. Sometimes I forget to check mine. I should.
well, yeah, because it's NVIDIA.
Yeah. Got this in the mail today. We loved the run, even if it ended with a thud.
All right, we are live for those that don't know. So
I know.
I accidentally hit. Okay. Sorry for the lateness. Sorry for the tardiness. I envisioned on starting this at 8 o'clock, but that did not happen. I'm still trying to get started. So we're going to get started. Going to do a brief countdown. Okay, I see where my timer is now. All right, coming down in 3, 2, 1. Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Spideydude Experience. Tonight, we're going to be covering a bunch of different topics. But this time, we're going to be covering some trailers, some posters, a new animated series being announced. We'll also be talking about Morbius, the living vampire, and side characters that I didn't know I cared about until now. Tonight, we're going to be having a big, fun time, and we hope and trust that you'll join us. As always, we thank our Patreon subscribers over at patreon.com/Spideydude Network. Guys like Greg, guys like Scott, Vinkman, of course, Jurgen, of course. Check out our Patreon page at patreon.com/Spideydude Network. If you're watching us on YouTube, you'll notice that we have some new visual aids. This is Season 2 of the Spideydude Experience. We ended Season 1 with the Nick Spencer run. We started with Beyond here in Season 2. We hope and trust that you'll enjoy it. Let us know what you think. Leave us some feedback. You can always leave us feedback at SpideyDudeRadioNetwork@gmail.com or on our various social medias. So as we get started this episode, we're going to be covering issues 78 and 77, as well as 78.BEY. So we hope and trust you'll enjoy it. Be sure to check out our other shows here on the Spideydude Radio Network. And we hope you enjoy this episode of Spideydude Experience. And here we are. Hi, everybody. We've got everybody here. I am Zach Joiner, your friendly neighborhood webmaster. I'm so glad to be in this chaos of space behind me. You guys can't see it. If you're listening to us on the audio version of the show, just note that we do have this live streamed on youtube.com/Spideydude Radio Network. And as a result, we might have some mentionings of some various visual aids. Join us, become a subscriber, give us a like, give it a share, and a subscribe. Of course, I am joined by the host of the Bogenrider Variety Hour. His name is Neil Bogenrider. Hello, Neil.
Hi. It's good to be here.
I love the poster behind you.
Thank you. So as part of my new setup, I have my high school diploma and my bachelor's degree along with my poster of ASM 55. So that's a new kind. I will call that
no longer just the house of quotes.
That's my season 2 update.
Yeah, I got that for Neil last year, so I'm glad he's got it hung up on his wall. I've actually got a slightly altered wall behind me as well. Yeah. But next up, we're going to introduce our good friend. He is the host of the Voices from the Eerie podcast. He is Greg Bishansky. Greg.
And as a callback to season 1, this just came in the mail. The very end of the Nick Spencer run, which we loved, even if it did end with a bit of a thud.
I didn't.
Or
Yeah. Yeah.
You can't trick me.
Yeah, that I mean, obviously go back and listen to the last couple episodes, and you'll hear our thoughts. If you're watching us live, be sure to let us know, because this was kind of
I said we loved the run as a whole. We just didn't like the end.
Right?
Yeah.
So, like I say, leave a comment, like, share, and subscribe. Also, check out. I also want to make a brief announcement while we got Greg on solo. Greg, something's happening with Voices from the Eerie.
Yeah, twice a month right now. I mean, I hope we're able to manage it. We've got 3 shows posted already. We've got 7 finished and in the can, which includes these 3, so really 4 more. And we'll be posting another one on Black Friday. We'll only be posting 1 in December just because of the holiday, and then 2 in January, and that should bring us up to date. But hopefully we'll have a couple more recorded before then. We're working on that. We're arranging some non-Wiseman shows. We're in the process of arranging a episode that deals with newbies who aren't really too familiar with it, coming on and watching the 5-part pilot and giving us their thoughts on it.
Yeah, so it's not going to be just the Wiseman episodes. Obviously, we appreciate those, but to kind of give Greg the ability to encapsulate the fandom in such a way, it did. You just check out Voices from the Eerie Gargoyles podcast. Follow Greg at From Eerie. That's the show Twitter. And yeah. And finally, we have Adam Beyond.
Hello.
I don't know if anybody can see the names. But
California homeless man.
Yeah, that's Neil's fault. We were workshopping this last week, and that's what we came up with.
homeless Adam.
You'll notice that the graphics actually work this time.
Yeah, and they look really good. Neil did a bang up job on all of it.
Looks great. Also, if we ever get Bertoni on here, he needs to be listed as homeless cop.
That's Joshua Lab Bertoni. That's a Bertoni reference.
No, he needs to be. He needs to be known as a comic homeless man.
Homeless man.
By
the way,
there's political homelessness, and then there's comic homelessness between Marvel and DC. Pick a side, yes. Bertoni.
Oh, well, consider. Well, no, Bertoni's going to pick the side that pays him. I mean, come on now.
You go where the money is.
He's an employee of AT&T. I do want to give a real quick. I'm going to go solo again.
Love the background. It's coming together nicely.
I have to give a bit of a shout out to Greg, because he did get me this Hasbro Pulse Venom. Gorgeous packaging. I'm going to open it live on air.
Oh boy.
That was an exclusive. It's not available anymore.
It was mint.
I know. But it also is meant to be displayed. Like,
yeah.
Look how pretty that is. I mean, fun fact: the box art, for those that are listening to us on the audio, you'll have to watch this on YouTube. The box art is actually from the '90s. That's the '90s true. Box art that they actually.
I remember. True. I got that figure for Christmas in '94.
Yeah, so very excited. The biggest difference, for those that don't know, in the Hasbro Pulse exclusive and this is that they did some of the color shading. This is straight from the '90s show. So it's got reds on one side, blues on the other. Saw this really cool custom when that figure first was released to reflect the '90s show, and Hasbro came out with that. So yeah, it's no longer available. It was an exclusive, and I'm a proud owner of it. And I wanted to show it off, and I wanted to say thanks to Greg again. So, all right,
you're very welcome.
Holy crap! Did you just start? I didn't realize.
I was gonna say
we did a really bad.
Okay, hang on. Who is Zach lagging, or is everyone else ahead?
I have no idea.
It could be me lagging.
Well, I was about to say, I think the colors in that Venom look better in hand there than they do in the press photos.
I'll agree. They're a lot more subtle. I think with the lighting, they popped more in a negative way. So yeah. Hello, Vinkman.
I remember when we talked about it, I wasn't quite sure, but
yeah. All right, I'm gonna take myself off solo right quick, and get the branding off. Okay. So hopefully everybody likes the new stuff. My lagging still.
It's not as garish as it was last episode.
I like it.
Yeah, right. It's really clean. I really like it. Neil worked very hard on this, and I really appreciate it.
I dragged you and Adam and Paul into a group chat. And they're like, "Help me fix this now!"
There we go. That's the one we wanted, right?
Yeah, this is this is a good view, I think.
Hang on, I'm gonna take down the main. I'm gonna take down that overlay and put up this one. There we go.
Ooh.
Okay. All right, everybody. So I know I did a very poor job in hyping this up, and that's my fault. But after watching the No Way Home trailer, I knew we had to record tonight. Like that had to happen. That was something that needed.
May I apologize in advance and say that I haven't read the comics in discussion tonight yet. I keep meaning to, but holidays, everything is hectic now, and we haven't even reached December yet.
Get out.
I work in retail. I understand. So, for those of you that have been living under a rock, and Neil, I'm going to need you to share your screen because I'm
okay. Hang on, send me the link.
Hyper slow. Let me grab the link for you. For those of you that have been living under a rock, obviously, No Way Home, Spider-Man No Way Home comes out this December. December 16th, I think, is the 17th. It's the 17th, but I think it'll have Thursday night screen.
Wait, where's the link?
I'm grabbing the link. It's
okay.
Loading. My computer is being slow. Like,
oh, is that why?
That was the reason we were so. Yeah, my computer is being freaking super slow. Don't know why. Probably Comcast. I'm going to blame them. I'm going to use their name. I don't care.
You know what?
It's easy to just blame everything on Comcast.
Comcast is no longer my employer's client, so fuck Comcast. I'm allowed to say it legally now.
Well, I mean, you just swore, so okay. We're ready now, guys.
The episode.
Let's go. Oh, good news! I am getting a new desk chair.
Yeah. So we took a fund for Neil, and your 25 cents a day got him
in the arms of the angel. God. It's just like me rolled up into a ball on the floor, lying on my beanbag chair. Every day, thousands of Neils like this one are forced to suffer with a terrible desk chair.
Okay, all right. We don't want to make up fun of the ASPCA. They are actually a decent organization, unlike PETA.
Damn.
Okay,
that's gonna get me.
You tried.
So I tried. Now maybe, man, golly. All right, so maybe if I go Wi-Fi on this, because I'm using the bricks again, and I thought that was going to make a difference, but I look good. The back looks good. It's not quite done yet. Obviously, there's some empty space for those that are watching.
Space for Venom.
Yeah, I've got Webman I'm acquiring via Christmas, so I'm waiting on Webman so I can do Venom and then Webman. But I can't throw this box away. It's too cool. Like it's too nice.
It is.
Yeah. That'll be a background.
Do you know who's in my pile of loot at Big Bad Toy Store, but he hasn't shipped yet? Clone Saga Chronicles' favorite character, the High Evolutionary.
I saw him at the store, and if I had the extra cash at that moment, that would have been a purchase. just because of Clone Saga Chronicles. Like, I called my wife and I said, I'm adding one to the list. And she's like, which one? So I texted it to her. And she's like, why? I said, because it's a meme and I need to be a part. Listen, I have to support the meme. It is what it is. You're watching us on YouTube. We got, 3 people watching us on YouTube? Say hi. Let us know what you think. All right, so
Hello.
I'm still trying to get this stupid. Besides you. All right, so okay, don't load completely, YouTube. Good God. All I want for Christmas is some RAM for my computer. There's 2 million thumbs ups. Even though YouTube says they're going to get rid of the dislike button, there's 11,000 people that disliked it. So,
Why?
31 million. Okay, as of 8:34 p.m. Central Time at this day, the day after, just a little over 24 hours, 31.1 million views of this trailer.
I think that's like the highest. I think that's the highest ever in 24-hour engagement.
Oh, Absolution Network. What's up? What's up? I think that is Neil. That's Thomas Mattis. Hi, Thomas. Hey, Zach. My LCS and Marvel books deliver day, so on New Comic Book Day. But I did get Army of Darkness too. So,
I mean,
who wants to play charades? Oh, Jesus. All right. We'll be better prepared next week. Or yeah.
wait. Are we screen sharing the whole trailer or?
We can screen share a little. I don't want to go too much on the trailer because
we don't want to get demonetized.
Yeah. Not that we're gonna get monetized.
Just copyright.
We don't want ads.
Yeah. Listen, if Sony needs some ad money from me,
they can peel it off my corpse.
I will say one thing about that trailer. I was really happy to hear our good friend J.R. Fettinger got employed by Marvel Studios to make an appearance.
First, we attack his heart.
Yeah. So I'm also gonna pull up. Who's a good source for the posters?
Marvel, maybe.
I don't want to. Like, I guess I'll give CBR the click. I don't know.
You go to Marvel.
I mean, we can.
Did the posters get on Marvel?
Yeah.
Go to Reddit.
Oh God, that's a scary.
Listen, man, you wanted results. I'm trying to give to you.
Nice shot of Melina there.
I love his X for doubt face.
Yeah.
I do like that they made the arms a little different.
It's nanotech. It's Stark tech.
Yeah.
Oh God. They made
you changed your mind.
The implication is that he's going to destroy the Iron Spider suit, and the tech is going to go into the arms.
That's from the leaks, right?
Well, I think we can kind of safely say the
fact that it's
okay.
red.
So let me make a disclaimer here. Anything that we say about in terms of leaks, we're going to say according to leaks, because this as I wrote on Twitter yesterday. This film has been leaked like a sieve, and if you expect all the leaks to come true, you're going to get your expectations so high that you're going to ultimately be disappointed.
Well, yeah, but
to reference a tweet by Joshua Lappin-Bertoni, don't gaslight yourself. You promised nothing.
But the Doc Ock, supplementing his arms with nanotech, I think has been one of the most consistent parts of the leaks in general. So.
Well, I feel like that was a new thing.
Okay,
I feel like that was.
If we're talking about, and if we're talking about characterization, it would make sense for Otto to want to enhance his existing arms with Stark Tech, because let's face it, it's not because we need to get Tony Stark involved. That's not it at all. It's
part of part of it. I mean,
but no, really, truly, but it's in character. It's in character, because when you think about it for a minute. This is the same guy that made adamantium arms in the comics.
Right.
It's no different. And obviously adamantium hasn't been introduced yet in the comics or it's not in the comics, in the MCU. So this is the next best thing. The only thing that would have been different would be, okay, let's make vibranium arms.
Do you know what I'm hoping this leads to? I'm hoping this leads to Spider-Man fighting them as himself. No Stark tech, but as Spider-Man.
Yeah, we'll see. It is the home series, so the Spider-Man home series. I don't know. Obviously, there's been a lot of people that have analyzed and dissected this trailer ad nauseum. I mean, VM Fuso, I think, did a video earlier today. I mean, there's been a lot of people that have reacted to this. Go ahead and play a little bit of the trailer for me, Neil, and we'll kind of walk through it.
Okay, I'm gonna turn the sound down.
JR in there.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Just mute the sound.
Oh, am I muting it? Oh, okay.
Oh, that's fine. I mean, I don't think anybody can hear your sound anyway.
No, they can. I think.
Okay. All right. Go ahead and.
But anyways, Tom Holland's sad. Let's see. Can you guys hear it?
I cannot.
No, that's fine. We don't really need to hear it.
Yeah, we don't need to hear it because I mean, obviously. So right now we're playing the trailer in the background.
Right now we're playing the trailer. Yeah.
The video is going to get taken down.
Tom Holland announced he wants to play James Bond, but I don't know if I can buy him as a secret agent.
We'll do the first minute, and then we'll minimize it.
Look at this! Oh my God, there's so much CGI.
Well, there's a ton of CGI, and I wonder how much of the pandemic actually affected.
Oh, there's JR. I found him.
There he is.
There he is.
Out am I?
Yeah, no. Okay, I've got that to be made into a clip, and I will use it whenever we get to the.
Oh, as a soundbite. So,
Justin Shields, where's Paul? He is currently driving home, so that's why he's not on. And that's also why we're talking about the trailer here at the beginning, because he's one of those that he doesn't like to talk about spoilers and stuff like that. Obviously, you'll listen to him talk about it more whenever he covers it on his show.
If I were a rich man, all day long, if I were a wealthy man, oi!
Alfred,
for those
Molina,
that don't,
really happy to see him again.
Yeah. Molina's there. Things that are confirmed in this trailer. So hang on. Spoiler alert. Spoiler alert.
If you hadn't seen spoilers already.
We've already talked about Molina, so Molina's not a spoiler. But from this point on, we're going to be in full-on spoilers. So if you do not want to hear spoilers, I suggest if you're watching us live, I will put in the chat that we're no longer talking spoilers. But if you want to be spoiled,
I'll hold this up.
We're just talking about
spoilers.
Okay, so we're only talking about the trailer. I don't want to get too much into the speculation just yet because I want to talk about what's in the trailer.
Right. Sure.
Obviously, it confirms several things. Jamie Foxx is confirmed in this trailer.
Yep.
Thomas Hayden Church's Sandman. Sandman. I don't know if it's Thomas Hayden Church, but I'm assuming it is.
I think that's going to be
confirmed.
CG.
The Lizard.
It's going to be CG. Lizard too. I think there's going to be CG.
Yeah, the Lizard is confirmed in this film.
Save them, Peter! I can cure them! But I sound like Bernie Sanders.
Because you're a Bernie. Never mind. You were a Bernie, bro.
Was.
I know.
Martha, I'm sorry.
So,
Martha.
So not only do we get, we had a kind of a hint in the teaser trailer that there was the Green Goblin. The Green Goblin's there. I honestly think that we may even see Harry in this because there was a brief. Now, somebody was saying it's a redesigned Goblin suit.
There's something out there that kind of confirms that. I don't know how legit that is.
There's some supposed concept art that's been leaked. But so either it's Willem Dafoe sans mask, which I mean he's more terrifying.
That's what I think
without the mask than he is with the mask. But also it confirms a couple. There is one thing I really don't like about this trailer.
They didn't put the theme in it.
Not even that. That's not the thing I don't like about the trailer. The joke about Otto's name.
No, yeah, terrible.
Really irritated me.
It's a terrible.
Irritated the shit out of me. I understand. this is supposed to be a kid in 2021, 2020, 2021, or 2024, whenever the hell this takes place in the timeline. Thank you, Endgame. But
Donovan made a great shared a great tweet about that earlier today.
that is my one gripe about the trailer, because it really it's unnecessary. It honestly it took me completely out of the trailer for a minute.
Yeah.
Like, it took me out of the trailer. I'm like, guys, I get it, but for having such a reverence for Stan, then you're gonna make fun of Otto's name.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, can I just say this movie is so dripping with irony that I feel like it can't ever take itself seriously. Like it's a combination of like cynicism, like Ready Player One tier nostalgia cynicism, but also it's dripping with so much irony that like it refuses to ever be serious. Like when Doctor Strange is like, "Scooby Doo this crap," I'm like, that wasn't funny. This wasn't funny.
That's not a funny line. Again, and why of all fucking. Okay, I guess we're
swearing.
We're swearing.
Pollard did it, so he set the trend. So.
Yeah. You mean Greg?
Oh,
that's not,
Greg and Pollard.
Well, Comcast deserves this.
Yeah, Comcast does deserve it. But seriously, like the of all people, why does Doctor Strange have to sound like Tony Stark?
Because they're
it makes no damn sense to me.
Because they're setting him up to be like the Quip Master.
Like he doesn't need to be the Quip Master. He's Doctor Strange.
Well, no, but Zach, you know the formula, right? The Marvel formula, there has to be like a Quip Master, and so Doctor Strange has to be able to be the Quipster. And
that should be Spidey. Spidey should be the Quipster.
Spidey should be the smartass. If anybody should be making jokes, it should be Peter, not Doctor Strange. Doctor Strange should be far more stoic than this. And I understand. There's been some elements where Cumberbatch, kind of when he called Tony a douchebag. That was a funny line, but it's not Doctor Strange. I'm sorry. Doctor Strange is a stoic type of character. So that is my other two. Literally everything else in this trailer I enjoyed. I mean, it's very clear.
Hawkeye should have been the Quipster.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to Hawkeye in a couple weeks.
Pizza dog, let's go.
But to me, like, okay, so let's go around the room. Adam, what did you think of this trailer?
Yeah, it's weird. Like I liked it for the most part. I didn't like the Dr. Octopus name, quote unquote joke. Like I said, it took me out of it. But I think overall the trailer is pretty good. I was like, but something seemed kind of off, and I'm like, what is it? What's missing here? And I think it's the fact that they didn't play the theme. They didn't play that big, grand orchestral theme of the '60s theme that they've been doing lately. They do it at the beginning of these movies. They did it. They put it at the end of the last trailer, but they didn't do it for this one. And I think that would have amped up the hype a little bit more. But
the hype of the trailer was crazy.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I think it's decent. I'm cautiously optimistic about the movie. Like I don't know. Like I'm just gonna try to enjoy it in the theater. I think it's gonna be a blast in the theater. After that, who knows?
Yeah, I agree. I got something to say in a minute, but yeah,
I like all the characters coming back. I like how the characters look for the most part. Like, I don't know. I'm interested.
They somehow made the Goblin look better in this film.
Yeah, see, the thing is, I'm seeing mixed reactions with that. I'm seeing people say he looks worse. I can see the mask looks slightly different to me, but I kind of like how it looks in this. I've always liked that mask, despite the fact that they were going to do that one animatronic thing, but I always liked the mask they went with. So Yeah, I think everyone looks good pretty much.
Okay, Greg.
I think there's a consistent theme with with these Spider-Man movies. There's going to be things that I enjoy about them, things that I don't enjoy about it, and I said this earlier today. The Raimi movies made a bunch of great choices and some really weird choices. The Webb movies made a ton of bad choices, and the MCU Spider-Man movies have made a bunch of baffling choices. There's a part of me that still looks at this and thinks you're chasing that acclaim and Oscar from Into the Spider-Verse here, which is why they're doing this. And at the same time, nostalgia is a hell of a drug. I'm looking forward to seeing Defoe again. I'm looking forward to seeing Alfred Molina again. The rest I could give or take, but they should be fun. And it was a very well done trailer, a very well cut trailer. Whoever did that should win an award for trailers. But I mean, I also come into this with a bit of cynicism because Donovan Morgan Grant, he retweeted earlier today or late last night. Everything's blending together now. A tweet about that whole line about Otto Octavius and his name and how cynical that is. They're making fun of the material. I'm of two minds of that. I mean, yeah, the Raimi movies approach this stuff with a lot more reverence, but from what I also understand, some things weren't allowed to be made fun of, less over reverence and more for, okay, Bendis tells a story where he's brought in to suggest some dialogue for the first Spider-Man movie, and he throws in a line where Peter makes fun of the Green Goblin's costume, and the executive stares daggers at him and says, that costume cost millions of dollars. You're not going to make fun of it. So, I don't know what's going on here. If anyone should make fun of people, it's Peter. I mean, I could see Peter making fun of Otto Octavius' name, but at the same time, I do feel there is something disingenuous about doing that. I thought that the Spider-Man 2 handled it. They did it a little bit. They handled it really well when Jameson says, Otto Octavius, man gets 8 arms. What are the odds?
Yeah, see, that's clever, too.
Yeah, that was very clever.
The thing is, I thought of it this way. That line laughs with the source material. Like, oh, we're kind of poking fun at it a little bit, but we're laughing with it. This trailer literally laughs at it.
You are right. You are 100% right about that. That is such a great point.
Yeah. But I'm also wondering if actually some people are theorizing that them laughing at the name they're not actually laughing at Otto, but I guess we'll see. Like it's two different scenes, but I guess we'll have to watch the movie and find out.
And I do think there's going to be another villain in there that we haven't seen yet, because since there's 6, there's only 5 so far, and if you saw the way recent Sony movie ended.
Okay, I have not seen Venom, but it did have some sort of tease. Just gonna say that.
I love the way Bishansky said recent Sony movie. It sounds like a Borat sequel.
All right, Neil. Speaking of, what's your thoughts on this?
I kind of don't care, man. I made a joke earlier that this movie has like the cynicism and nostalgia bait of Wreck-It Ralph 2, Space Jam 2, and Ready Player One kind of crammed into a blender together, and then they put a little bit of Marvel magic dust on there, and they called it a day.
You're too young to understand, Neil.
Too young to understand what? Corporate cynicism? Shut up. But I don't know. This movie doesn't really excite me. I'm tired of like all the costume changes. I'm tired of relying on other people's nostalgia for movies to fuel the plot. Apparently, they've been rewriting this script like every day of its production.
That's rarely a good sign. But you know what? That happened with the Lord of the Rings trilogy also. And I'm not going to compare these to Lord of the Rings. Those movies are terrific.
Yeah, but like when your script is being rewritten on a daily basis, like, and you're still trying to figure out the plot, that isn't good.
Yes.
This movie tonally and behind the scenes feels like a mess. And frankly, I think we'd all be better off seeing like a movie that focuses more on Peter's arc. And as much as I didn't like that arc of Peter, becoming like his own person out of Iron Man's shadow, it was at least an arc that felt like it was his and his alone. But now it feels like we're trying to borrow from everybody else's secondhand scraps in order to fuel the plot. And it's one of those parts where like the plot and the behind the scenes stuff is fueling the stuff that's happening on the screen more than anything else.
And wasn't Michael Mando supposed to become Scorpion? What happened with that?
Look over there. It's Mysterio. I don't know.
I think Mysterio.
I liked Mysterio.
Mysterio was great. I'm not saying Mysterio was bad. I'm just saying that like now we're back to doing look guys, Raimi Man. Look guys, the lizard no one liked. I think that's telling.
Yeah.
It is unfortunate that this is the last movie of Tom's trilogy, sort of, and we're doing a Spider-Verse thing, It doesn't really make sense.
This really gets me to my last point. My one worrying concern about this is that, like you guys said, this has, to me, I'm of two minds. I'm excited. I'm looking forward to it. Probably more than I would have. Somebody brought it up in the comments, so I'll obviously say it's very obvious Toby and Andrew are going to be in No Way Home by the trailer. And Vic was like, everybody was like it's the end all be all of this movie. It might be in the film. Doesn't mean it'll be good. And I understand. And that's where I'm at with it. Listen,
I can still enjoy it if it's not good, though. We all can, really. Like, it might be terrible, but it could still be enjoyable.
It is indicative of Spider-Man Twitter right now. Because, like, MCU Spidey Twitter, specifically, think about it. You have the wars between the generations. Okay? And Venkman's kind of making my point for me in the comments. He says, I mean, I get it. There's an entire generation of Spider-Man fans who love Tobey the same way people like him loves the Christopher Reeve Superman movies, but this is supposed to be Tom's movie. And that's where I'm at with it. Like, I'd have been fun. Here's my thing. I wanted them to finish the story instead of just jumping into Spider-Verse. Tease Spider-Verse at the end of the movie. Make the happy accident and then tease it. Instead, now we're cramming what I feel like it should be two movies into one. This is a Spider-Man 3 syndrome all over again. Like, let's make the biggest Spider-Man movie ever.
And they're doubling down on it because they haven't learned their lesson at all. It's like they took the worst lessons away from ASM 2 and Spider-Man 3 and just crammed them all into one movie.
If anybody could do it, though, I trust Marvel can handle a movie of this scope.
I
mean, listen, I felt like they nailed Endgame. I thought they did really well with Infinity War. Those were huge in scope movies.
Here's the thing also. Dimension hopping is not a Spider-Man story. I mean, I know we had Into the Spider-Verse, which I did love. That was a great movie. It was based on a Dan Slott story. We all have our own different opinions there. But now I feel like that's become this huge part of Spider-Man lore, and that's not what I think of. I think of the friendly neighborhood guy.
Yeah, when we talk about like Spider-Man, for whatever reason, a big part of his brand now is hopping through the multiverse, and I don't care about that. I care about the guy on the ground who looks out for the little guy. It's one of the things I think they got really right about Homecoming.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying never do that because Spidey's been around for 70 years now, close to. I mean, you can do stuff like that on occasion.
But they've run into the ground. But they've recently run into the ground.
Yeah, it's interesting how this is like it's like warp speed. All of a sudden, like that Spider-Verse, the Slott story came out in 2014-ish, right? And then 2014, 2015. Now all of a sudden, like the past 7 years has been all this stuff involving that. And I guess they're realizing we have all these Spider-Men and women. throw them out there and let them all play with each other. I guess I don't know.
But Adam,
Yes.
Adam, don't you understand?
Yeah, I know. John Semper created it, and I
Semper created it.
I know that. I mean, he did though. That was the for Spider-Man. That was the first Spider-Verse story, in my opinion. Other than I guess like when he meets 2099 for the first time.
So it wasn't in fact John Semper. It was in fact Peter David.
I think that might have been like
Peter David
wrote like a year before.
Peter David did Spider-Verse.
Do you know what Peter David never did? Change someone else's title so he could put his name on his script and collect part of their paycheck.
Oof. Ooh. I love this smug look. Greg's like, ooh,
I think I know
got owned.
What?
That's
a reference to the guy who claims he created everything.
Man.
That's all I'm going to say.
Well, I mean, yeah, I mean, this is the guy that literally is claimed in multiple posts that he's responsible for Black Cat's popularity.
You just got Bishansky'd.
Yeah. Oh, I'm the first one to bring Captain America into animation. Oh, you weren't.
They did that in the
Captain
40s.
America throws his mighty shield. I mean, he hasn't made that claim. I mean, but he's made similar. I mean, like the thing is that I can sit there and say that, and you could believe it because he's done it so often. I have so many questions about that, but anyway, so yeah, trailer. Like I say, for a trailer, it was a good trailer. The hype though for this, everybody is just like. This is the one. Okay, this is the opposite to me of Eternals. Yeah. Eternals, everybody's like, okay, we'll see what happens.
I still haven't seen it.
Gosh, it's like, okay, I guess I'll see it. Maybe.
I have seen it, so can I just say that going off of experience coming out of Eternals, that like having this many cast members and this much to do in the plot is going to be an absolute nightmare unless they get like the best screenwriter in Hollywood to make this movie. And considering that Marvel just uses the same one over and over again, I doubt it. This movie's going to be an absolute mess. Calling it now.
I think it's going to be a mess.
I'm looking forward to it, but like, I mean, there is a shot.
It'll be adequate.
I'll say this: do I think that Toby and Andrew are going to show up?
I don't care.
Possibly. And if they do, cool. It's an acknowledgement and it's a celebration and a culmination of everything that's happened before. That's cool. I enjoy that.
Same.
You know, that's why I feel like that when Holland says this is Spider-Man's endgame, he's basically saying we're pulling out all the stops because we don't know if we're going to have another one of these.
I don't know.
I'm not going to say it's dumpster fire.
No, yeah, I think this is honestly Sony's getting their Avengers money that they wanted so badly. This is it.
This movie's gonna make bank, and I feel like that's gonna set a bad trend in Hollywood. That's more my problem.
But I'll tell you, this honestly feels like we're building towards a seminal moment, the way the first Spider-Man film was. I mean, that's something that people like like the kids don't understand. Spider-Man 1 was in a perfect storm. Spidey had been in development hell for 15 years at that point.
At least, yeah.
Yeah, 15 years. I think the canon film was supposed to come out in 87.
Okay.
I kind of want to see what that movie would have been like.
Me too, actually.
God,
if they did the horror thing,
after watching Superman 4: The Quest for Peace, like I would have killed to see how the canon Spider-Man film would have been.
I would have liked to see that thing where they were going to do a horror
James
thing.
Cameron film that was never made. Peter
the one
and
where Peter and MJ
side of a bridge.
Yeah, they have sex on the George Washington, right?
Yeah. That script that was put out, which is half script, half treatment.
There's like a whole storyboard for it, practically.
Didn't it?
Yeah, it got pretty late in development.
Didn't the script get released once?
Yeah, it's out there.
That's what I'm saying. It was
It's out
was
there
not
with
the
like storyboards and stuff. There's like the full thing is out there.
yeah
I do want to respond to Venkman on one thing. Regardless of whether or not, I mean, there's some MCU movies I like more than others. I don't think this is going to be as bad as Thor: The Dark World, and for as lame as Thor: The Dark World was, it was nowhere near as bad as Rise of Skywalker. I do not believe this is going to be anywhere near as bad as Rise of Skywalker at its
Well,
worst.
what makes Rise of Skywalker suck, and I'm gonna make it quick just so we don't get down the Star Wars rabbit hole, is that Rise of Skywalker was essentially trying to reboot the trilogy in the last third. This at least feels like it's continuing the plot points of the last movie, but not in a good way.
Mm-hmm.
Things I don't expect to be in this movie. I don't expect Charlie Cox to make an appearance. I'd love for him to do. I expect Charlie Cox to make an appearance in She-Hulk, but not in this.
That actually looks like a pretty good show right now. Like from what I've seen
Dude, I love the 70s inspired ad that they have in that trailer where she's like, "Don't make me angry. You wouldn't like," and like with the pause, the inflection, it was chef's kiss, like fan service for me.
But like the little we saw, the costume was actually pretty good too. Like in terms of
the
costume design.
Honestly, legit. Speaking of, I sent the link.
Disney Plus Day. Disney Plus Day happened.
So Disney Plus Day happened, and what was it? The 6th? What was it? The 15th, the 14th, the 12th, the 12th. I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm.
So this is last week. Disney Plus Day 2021.
Hang on,
Spider-Man. Yeah, share that screen, baby.
Let's go.
Spider-Man freshman year. So this is a new animated series that is going to be put on Disney Plus. I'm assuming in 2023.
Yeah,
they actually say a date.
Because we're kind of guessing just because that's when like X-Men 97 is supposed to come out and other animated projects that were released were announced. So this is more of an assumption on our part.
The brief flash of animation showed like complete, like back to like straight out of comics. This is a in-universe Spider-Man show, and it's going to be taking place before Spidey becomes Spidey. So this is his freshman year of high school when you see him in his early journey. And so this is going to be executive produced by Jeff Trammell. And not much is said, so I'll just quote it for those that are not or that are listening.
Wait. Before he becomes Spider-Man in the MCU, so basically the sweatsuit with the homemade mask, no supervillains.
Which is a shame, actually, because the character designers they have for this are amazing.
Like they got Leonardo Romero, who's a comics artist, to design.
They got him. They got Paulo Rivera again.
Oh, wait, they got Rivera?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, they're wasting him.
Who else? They got someone else. There's a third guy. I can't remember.
I don't care.
But another great artist.
I'll just say I hope it's better than the last two Spider-Man cartoons.
Well, I'm kind of tired of going back to. I'm goddamn tired of going back to this. Spider-Man goes to high school. Well, it's getting old at this point.
I wish this was freshman year of college.
I don't care.
Yeah, but if you're going to set something in the MCU, there is things to mine. This is where we can finally see. I don't know, Uncle fucking Ben.
Yeah.
You'll get him in the shadows. They're just gonna screw with you at this point. Anyway, so here's the press release. Disney Plus. This is from Marvel.com. So Disney Plus Day 2021 is here, and it's kicking into high gear with brand new announcements coming out of the Marvel Cinematic Universe with what's to come with the streaming service. During Marvel Studios' 2021 Disney Plus Day special, which is currently streaming exclusively on Disney Plus, it was announced that viewers will get a new look at Peter Parker in Marvel Studios' Spider-Man freshman year. The animated series follows Peter Parker on his way to becoming Spider-Man in the MCU with a journey unlike we've ever seen and a style that celebrates the character's early comic book roots. Written by executive producer Jeff Trammell. No idea who that is.
Maybe this won't actually be that.
Yes.
Okay.
You're about to ask me something?
All right.
So Matt Auger said in the comments that they need to take a break from making Spider-Man cartoons. I'm fine with them making Spider-Man cartoons. I'm just tired of them using the same setting over and over and over again.
Yeah.
Use a new one.
I'm really ready. I'm really ready to see a Spider-Man cartoon that takes place, I don't know,
In college.
in college. We haven't had it since the 90s.
Especially if Tom Holland's making like a big deal out of like him saying like I don't want to be playing Spider-Man when I'm 30, and I'm thinking to myself, well, awesome. Then if we shelve Spider-Man, kind of put him off in the toy box over there, then we can let him go be Spider-Man over in animation, where we're able to flex our art style and animation muscles a bit more, and do less tactical villain designs.
And guess what?
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to deal with Sony,
and you don't have you
listen,
don't you don't have to do Tony Stark anymore.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
They're gonna, but because it makes them money. But you don't have to.
Holland will show. Listen, there will be an event. There will be an big Avengers event, big cosmic Avengers event, because that's clearly what they're setting up with Eternals. That's clearly what they're setting up with even Guardians. Like, I will be floored if we don't get a Secret Wars.
It's gonna be Annihilation. You're gonna like it.
Mm-hmm.
It's
got Fantastic Four's coming.
Yeah. It's kind of funny. We bring up Spider-Man in high school constantly, and someone asked me recently why we're okay with the high school setting in Spectacular Spider-Man versus the shows that came after. And my response to that was, well, that was done as a creative choice as opposed to a executive mandate, which is what I feel everything else has been.
Like Ultimate Spider-Man was more of a framing device. Like it's in the same way that S.H.I.E.L.D. was. Peter being in high school was a way for him to interact with the rest of his S.H.I.E.L.D. squad buddies in a more relaxed setting. But in the 2017 cartoon, it felt like they had to like bend all the plot elements around the high school components so they could justify him being in high school.
You can tell
almost the plot was driving the characters, and the characters weren't driving the plot.
What's this? A slot show using slot rules? Holy shit!
Yeah. Also, I responded to that person. You can always tell when a TV show or a movie is doing something with creative integrity as opposed to planned out in the boardroom.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. So yeah, listen, I'm looking forward to it. There's still some Disney Plus shows I've not finished. I've not finished Loki, and I've not completely finished What If. But all the Disney Plus shows have been good.
Yeah,
honestly.
I was on a real quick. I was on a show last night. I was talking about Eternals. I know this is becoming an Eternals podcast now. But my thesis is that considering like the viewer metrics they're getting, and considering how unreliable theater money is right now, all things considered, actually honestly for the next couple of years, I think it'll be unreliable. But I see Disney kind of using Eternals as maybe an excuse to kind of get away from the theatrical releases and kind of go more in a Disney Plus TV show model, considering how successful the last 3 have been in a row, or the live action ones at least.
Yeah. Well, and also because 4 movies a year, that's a lot. But 4 shows a year, that's a
lot more manageable.
Yeah.
Like when I was talking about Star Trek with my friends, if they were releasing 4 Star Trek films a year, that would seem like a lot. But that was Zach. But if you release like 4 Star Trek shows, like what they're doing now with Prodigy, Lower Decks, Discovery, and Strange New Worlds, it seems a lot easier to micromanage, or it's a lot easier to consume when it's coming out weekly instead of like you have to spend a lot of time consuming this singular product.
Yeah, well, and honestly, it's gotten to the point where John Q. Public. At what point does Marvel fatigue set in?
I think it kind of already has, to be honest. With it, Eternals is.
I think Eternals was a perfect storm. I think that it was part Marvel fatigue that will be erased the moment that No Way Home comes out.
So do you think Spider-Man's like the reset button for fatigue, or?
Well, again, Shang-Chi.
Shang-Chi was good. I liked it.
surprised a lot of people. I think everybody was expecting Shang-Chi to be the one that was like, oh, it's going to bomb. Eternals, to me, was always going to be the one that was going to bomb. From the moment that they announced the plot, the casting, I was like, we're going to go across thousands of years. The hubris of Marvel came out in that particular moment.
Oh yeah, like they assumed that that one, it's sort of like Guardians of the Galaxy, but Guardians of the Galaxy had like James Gunn behind it, who was at that point was fairly well established. Eternals had Chloe Zhao, who, as much as I love Nomadland, doesn't have the same high profile that James Gunn does. And
Eternals came across as Oscar bait.
It came across as a Marvel movie trying to be Zack Snyder.
Yes, I can tell from the trailer. The one thing I liked in the trailer, though, was when I looked at Celestial, I said, I wish I was looking at a Galactus that was that cool.
Who says we're not going to? Come on,
I'm sure we will.
You think we're going to get Annihilation?
It should not be in Fantastic Four, the first one.
Don't blow your load on the first go.
No.
But in the sequel, hell yeah.
And I guarantee you, because they know they have to replace Thanos, I guarantee you they're putting a lot of work into how they're going to present Doctor Doom. They know they have to. He's their last big gun, aside from maybe Magneto.
Doctor Doom will be the big bad of Phase 5. Phase 4's big bad, I think, will be Kang. But Phase 5 will be Doctor Doom.
If they mess up and do Doctor Doom as like the first villain in Fantastic Four 1, I have no hope for the rest of the franchise going forward. Like, do Mole Man. Yeah. Do Mole Man first.
You know
Start
what?
small.
Do you know what? Here's how you introduce Doom. Do it in a TV show and then bring him into the movies. I've got Ed Brubaker's Books of Doom right over there. There's your blueprint. Turn that into a miniseries on Disney Plus, and then bring him into a Fantastic Four sequel.
I don't mind if they cast him and introduce him, and show the origin of Fantastic Four, and there be a like kind of like what they were setting up the leader to be.
Oh, in the first Hulk movie, yeah.
In the Incredible Hulk, like doing it that way, where you see Doom's build up to becoming disfigured. And showing that, but him not being the villain, him being a supporting character in that movie, and then build towards kind of like what they did with Harry in the first Spider-Man films, where Harry's the best friend. Then he becomes, by the end of the second one, he's the enemy. He's vowing to kill Peter Parker. I'm
ruined. All I have left is Reed Richards.
Yeah.
As you, Richard.
Okay, I'm done.
But like that's where I'm at with it. We just build Doom up, because there's been so much. I mean, this is the guy that inspired Darth fucking Vader. Don't fuck it up. Like
you say that like they won't
own both of these characters now. How do you screw this up?
Hubris.
You talk to the Lucasfilm people, and be like, all right, how do we bring the presence? And inevitably, you're going to see people inevitably, and there's going to be people that are going to do this. If this happens, be like, oh, he's too much like Darth Vader, son.
Well, Dune is a ripoff of Star Wars, don't you know?
Right. Yeah. Okay, but there is a fundamental. Here's the thing: there is a fundamental difference.
Oh, okay.
Getting back real quickly to Eternals, there's a fundamental difference between the two situations. One, Guardians is a risk, but it was fun. It was fun from the trailers. It was fun from the casting. It was fun from the whole entire thing, because you could tell there was genuine heart behind the characters. Eternals trailers
tried to be serious and it failed.
Try to be overly super hyper serious, like they were trying to do an Oscar bait film in the MCU. And honestly, from the marketing and everything like that, to me it felt like Eternals. Marvel tries too hard.
Do you know what the sad thing about that's going to be? They're going to take the wrong lessons from that. I mean, I appreciate that they wanted to do something different tonally than most of the other MCU. I appreciate the attempt. It didn't work. And instead, they're going to stick more towards what it's been accused of being a conveyor belt. I don't necessarily agree with that criticism, but I see where it's coming from, and they might be afraid to try tonally different things that could possibly work.
When it really sucks because all the actors who were in that movie, like 10 really good actors, like Richard Madden, Gemma Chan, Kumar, and who's the guy who plays Garugamesh. But like these are all great actors, and they all got put in like this movie where none of them got to really flex, and now they're not going to get another chance. I mean, Gemma Chan might get a third because this is her second MCU outing, but she was Minerva.
Yeah,
What?
She was
Marvel.
Minerva in Captain Marvel.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I forgot.
But she looks like small enough that they can go. See, that's what they were relying on. They were relying on Zach not like paying close enough attention so they could kind of sneak her into another movie.
She also had blue skin in Captain Marvel.
Yeah, so that kind of helped her.
Again, like I say, that was always going to be the one that I was like,
okay,
okay, it's there. It's the one that I honestly felt like I could pass. And then I got spoiled on the freaking post-credit scene, which annoyed the shit out of me. Same thing with Venom. In both cases, Venom and which I have not seen either one yet. And I will watch Venom whenever I get a chance. I just haven't had a chance. I've been trying to, I don't know, unpack my house.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Like right now, it's barely usable as a studio right now. It looks great. Don't get me wrong. Right here, it looks fantastic. But don't
show them the rest.
I can't show them the rest. Like okay. I'll show. Like there's boxes still in the floor. Like
it's not as bad as you made it sound.
But I'm just happy to be like here. No offense to my compadres that were up in Nebraska, but I'm just happy to have my background. It actually look and feel like me again.
I will say this.
You know what? I bet you like even more getting to sleep in your own damn bed.
Not in the air mattress.
And not an air mattress that was becoming more and more untenable as I don't know, almost broke my hip. I dislocated my hip at one point.
So I guess before we move on to the reviews, I guess we'll kind of end on this, and it's going to be an Eternals comment. God help us. Guardians was less of a risk. Eternals as a brand, no one cares about the Eternals. Not even like the really diehard Jack Kirby fans. Guardians of the Galaxy had a modern incarnation. Like, they had. I know Eternals had like Neil Gaiman and Romita Jr., but Guardians had a much more popular and cult following that they could at least rely on a broader audience than Eternals. Eternals is just like a shot in the dark, hoping someone likes it.
The funny thing is, I remember Cersei and Black Knight as Avengers more than I remember them as Eternals.
Yeah, that's actually a good point. Like, I wonder if they had just made this a Cersei and Black Knight movie, if this would have worked out better, or even if they cut the cast in half, if this would have been a better movie. But anyways, we should talk about Spider-Man some more. Comic time, let's go.
All right, so Neil, you're not doing the rundown, right?
I mean, I can do them. I was just kind of burned out when I got out of work, but I've had munchies.
Perhaps I should step out.
Okay.
No, stay in. I mean, if you want to be, like, especially if Paul shows up, I'm trying to figure out where the hell he is.
He's probably eating or something.
Let me dig through my pull boxes real quick and get 77. I've got 78, and I've got 78 and dot Bay.
Yeah, Bay. The Bay issues.
Yeah, Michael Bay.
The needless, extra pointless issues. All right,
actually, you're gonna hate me for this.
Michael
That was
Bay,
the
my
best
favorite.
one.
I know. Still says.
Okay. But I honestly think that the Dot Bay issue was the best one we had.
It was also the least Spider-Man issue of the 4.
That's telling.
All right, so Neil, if you'll pull, can you pull up
The Comixology preview.
yeah, the Comixology preview
What was
for
that
me?
Joe Quesada comment that someone left? That was so a decade ago.
It's Matt Bird.
Sorry, Matt. We love you, Matt.
Dude, he's been gone like in an actual role of power for like at the last 7 years at least.
Yeah, I don't know. He's trying to be like
He's trying to get in, but he's failing.
he's trying to be like the next Stan Lee or something. It's like, dude, it's not happening. You can do all your, Marvel little show documentary things and
What
get
is the show?
demoted
That-
and replaced by Feige, basically, but it's not gonna happen.
I heard a rumor that Feige wants to be the next cameo guy after Stan Lee, and I'm thinking,
God.
dude, don't do that. You did an amazing job with these movies. We appreciate that.
Don't
but
let your
don't do
let your
this.
Huberts let you trip on your own dick.
Also, no one's gonna recognize you. Stan Lee. Everyone knows what Stan looks like. If you're gonna,
I don't know. There's a lot of people that know who Kevin Feige is over the years.
He made
I
a
know-
cameo in X-Men.
I know I've seen Kevin Feige in person at New York Comic Con, but
All right, hang on. I'm pulling up the screen share now. Sorry, I had to go find it.
Oh, you're good.
Okay.
Next
that's
episode.
actually okay. Never mind.
All right.
So
So
I'm gonna keep these kind of short just because.
I can do the recaps of the first two because
Oh,
that
would you please?
yeah I'll do. It. Let me get my app open. Right.
As we prepare to do that, I'm just gonna say this: Goblin Queen is Emily.
I think Goblin Queen is hot. That's all I gotta say.
Oh,
We'll talk about the solicits here in a little bit.
I like her
mad at
designs
ya.
better than Menace.
yeah. The Menace design is okay.
Which
but
one? She had like 3.
Goblin
The
Queen
the original
Queen, Goblin,
one.
Queen Goblin, more like Gobby Mommy.
Beyond chapter 3.
That's also cover
issues.
for Fragment.
Oh god, that was like yeah, it was such a bad cover. All right, so here we go. Issue 77, 8. It's actually 878. I mistyped that on the on the banner. Amazing Spider.
Days.
All right, so this is written by Kelly Thompson, Sarah Bocelli on artwork. We have a sword and a cybernetic arm that kind of highlight the cover. So the issue opens with a sparring session with Ben Reilly as Spider-Man with Misty Knight and what's her name? God,
Colleen Wing.
Colleen Wing.
Colleen Wing. Thank you. Just blanked there. My bad. So yeah, we kind of open the scene where Ben.
From the classic Netflix show Iron Fist.
Yes. Oh god.
Starring Finn Jones.
Oh god. All
And
right.
directed by Scott Buck, who I hate.
Inhumans, last season of Dexter, that guy.
Why is everything he touched turned to shit?
So we have our benefactors of the Beyond Corporation that are monitoring the situation, and so we are kind of, each issue we're kind of introduced to these various people. Maxine Danger, head of superhero development of the Beyond Corporation. So, she comes downstairs and she's like, Ben needs to be off his next appointment, and so she sits there and starts talking, and she's like. Ben's like trying to get to Ashley's office because he needs to do his therapy session, and basically she's talking about how they've invested so much in him. The word that she's looking for is seriously, that Ben's not taking things seriously enough, et cetera, et cetera. And
Run, Neil, run.
Neil ran away. So obviously, they get to Ashley's office, and she's like, Ben's like, I am Spider-Man, and so then we get to Ashley's office, and Ashley's like, you seem a bit distracted, and Ben's kind of frustrated by the situation because he's like, Ben's still not telling Ashley the full truth as to what's going on with him. And so and then Ben kind of goes and reminisces about this story, about, from the past, and then Ben suddenly doesn't remember it, and like he lost a piece of that memory, which is interesting. We go back to the McCarthy Medical Center where we have a scene with Aunt May, Peter, and MJ. Peter's obviously still not feeling well. May asks, can you talk to Stark? And Mary Jane's been like, I've tried to talk to everybody I know, even Doctor Strange.
Editorial won't let me.
But editorial won't let me because Doctor Strange is dying this week. So really nice scene. We also have Black Cat, who is monitoring the situation from outside. Cut back to Ben's snazzy bachelor pad, not bachelor pad, but he's the snazzy pad that he's sharing with Janine. They end up having this really cute scene. Ben's like, I want to do a date night, and then he has to go take off. So he takes off. We then cut to Morbius, the living vampire. And there's my lovely wife in the background.
Hi, Sarah.
Hi, Sarah.
Oh, I scared her off.
No, she's going to bed. Love you.
Good night, everybody.
Also, you mentioned Morbius. Shout out to our good friend Kevin.
Yeah, I did text Kevin when the Morbius trailer came out. I'll talk about that in a little bit. So obviously, Morbius and Ben are fighting. This is a big fight scene where I don't know what's going on with Morbius, but it's like he can't talk. Ben ends up getting bit by Morbius, and that's how the issue ends. That's the big
cliffhanger
at the end of the issue. We then go to 78.
Cool. I'm glad we're doing this all in one. These two both in one.
Yeah,
go.
there's no reason to do these, and we'll talk about them as So
a full thing.
Yeah. So Kelly Thompson, Sarah Pichelli with Jim Towie as artists. So pick up where we left off. Ben is feeling obviously pretty groggy. He ends up heading back to Beyond Corporation, where Morbius then gives chase, and then he loses his entire left arm.
Yeah.
Plus a nipple.
It gets blowed off. It got blowed off by like a laser that was from the 90s show that Morbius got shot in. The only thing was missing was the sucker hands.
No, the only thing missing was Punisher like reloading his gun and saying "Justice served."
Right.
Use non-lethals.
So Janine, shows up. Then the Beyond people start showing up. They start collecting the pieces to Morbius. Janine tries to go back there. They continue to lock her out, which we know that's not going to end well. So then the armor
this isn't a plot point at all.
Gets taken off, and they're trying to. So the head of the Beyond Corporation, as Ben has been bit, and he's like, having issues. He's like, why don't we just see what happens? Like, because Ben to her is a science experiment, and eventually we have this really nice scene with Kat and Peter. Peter starts kind of reacting, which is the first time we've seen.
Quick, MJ, assemble the harem. If we gather enough of them, he'll wake up.
Yeah.
First time that's happened since he went under. And
come on, you three! Just have a threesome already. Your fans have been waiting decades.
I made a joke. One of my friends asked me like, "What is MJ asking Peter?" And I said, "Wrong answers only." Hey, Peter, if you wake up, I'll do that thing that you and MJ wanted for your birthday.
So at one point, she makes the joke about, "Come on, Tiger, I know you're in there. I don't know, how many love interests do you want me to get in the room? I'll do whatever it takes." So,
hey, guess who's in the house? It's
Welcome,
Peter
there he
Morgan.
is.
He's here.
Life.
Hello, Paul.
Hi.
Oh, there he is.
I'm removing. I need to remove the ticker so you get. Okay.
Yeah, hey,
that's
Paul.
Neil, those look beautiful, dude. Seriously, they look great.
But he
I'm-
Paul's name.
Oh shit! I was supposed to change that.
Neil, believe it or not, you're not the first, and you won't be the last.
Right.
So don't worry.
So welcome to Paul. Paul, hi.
Hi.
We talked
Paul.
about the trailer. So I don't know if you've seen it. I can't remember
No.
if you watch trailers or not. So
I haven't seen any trailers. No, I have no idea what's going on.
Frogman's in it.
God,
has
I
the-
wish.
he
God, I
has the
wish I had no
suit.
idea.
He has
what was
one of the
going on.
many suits featured in the movie as a Funko Pop.
okay, so we'll talk about that. Right now we're doing the review.
He also has Frogman, who also showed up in the trailer.
Yeah.
I love that Frogman.
Me too.
Same.
All right, so I'm doing the recap of the first 2 issues, Paul, and then we're going to talk about it, and then we'll go from there. So Morbius, sands his arm, runs away, but Colleen and Misty are like, doing everything they can. Apparently, his arm is starting to regenerate. I don't.
It does look like that, yeah.
Looks like it's at
I
least
noticed that.
cauterized, or like it's
Well-
getting like a little stump.
Looks like his
Yeah.
nipple came back.
So Colleen and Morbius continue to fight when all of a sudden Monica Rambeau shows up because reasons.
Next wave. Wait, okay. Zach's never read what Next Wave, so this is important.
I haven't
Yeah.
read Next Wave either.
Okay, so
Damn it.
we then cut to an entirely different artist drawing an entirely
Me
different
too.
scene with Ben and Janine going on a date night, and we then have the weirdest moment of dialogue I've ever seen come out of the mouth of Craven the Hunter.
It's
Yeah.
Craven 87, so it doesn't count.
Ah, how
Still.
sweet! Those crazy kids.
Mariah!
Those crazy kids should probably make that a goodbye, kids.
Why does he count?
I don't know.
What the fuck?
Because Morbius
Because you have to
ones
count
when
it.
we-
You have to count the amount of clones it took to get him.
That's not a
Have you
Bad
ever
answer.
seen that typical episode of the '90s show that a bunch of us did? It's on YouTube. Once our friend Adam did Morbius as the count.
Oh God, Adam Spencer, yeah.
We have to share that sometime. I've still got it.
So nobody knew what we were gonna do, and we all just decided we were all in a Skype chat, and it was like this is back when we did like weekly Skype chats, and Greg brought that into the chat, and then we're like we should like just riff, and so everybody
Do
had different.
dramatic reading.
Oh shit, he just died. Okay, Transformers time, boys.
no.
Paul's just miserable. He's just
All
like,
hail
I don't want
Unicron.
Oh, my Unicron.
Orson Welles rolls towards Cybertron.
That'd be Spike. Oh shit!
Whoa, shit! What are we gonna do now?
Is it showing on
Oh
cam?
shit!
Can you see it?
Oh
I
yeah,
can see it.
that's pretty beautiful. It's pretty beautiful. Are we doing the Beyond issue that came out today?
Yeah, we are. I'm gonna redo that
Oh.
recap after Zach.
Okay, I haven't read it, so I can only do like
There
one
he
issue
is.
essentially.
There we go.
Because I didn't do last week's or last couple episodes or last couple issues.
Dude, I'm gonna tear into this arc. The Morbius one.
We can't hear you.
I think Zach's on the phone.
Oh, I see. Can I get while he's doing
Comcast.
that? Can I just talk about my latest like the last couple whatever it is the issues because if you guys already done the previous issues.
We've
the
done
ASM 75 and 76, or
I think I was there for the
you were there
first
for the
two issues.
you were there for the Wells Gleason issues, yeah.
Yeah, and then after that, I haven't done any of the Thompson issues. Or, yeah, it was Thompson after them, right?
Yeah, we're doing
What was it?
Thompson. We're doing Thompson
yeah.
right now.
Yeah.
Okay, but she's only done 2 issues, and I don't know who does the BY issue today. I haven't read that one.
Jed
yet.
McKay, the Black Cat Writer.
Oh, he did that one. Not cool. I'm
Yeah,
looking forward
he
to that.
also has history with the Daughters of the Dragon. He did the Daughters of the Dragon miniseries on the Marvel, like the digital one. So he's got
All right,
history
right
with
on.
them.
All right.
So
Yeah, I guess-
Do we want to
so
roll
I-
around
so-
grades first before we get into?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Send the grades in the private chat for everybody, and then me and Neil can kind of start working on it.
Yeah, you were telling the anecdote about that typical episode of the '90s Spider-Man show.
Yeah,
before you blacked
sorry.
out.
And then I got lagged by Comcast, which I blame Comcast and their.
Comcast put out a hit.
Fuck Comcast.
We also established that there is no language filter on this episode, Paul. So drop
Feel free to
F-
cut
Never.
loose.
And it's
I didn't know there was
Comcast's
a
fault.
language filter.
Well, sometimes we try, but sometimes we just stop caring.
Okay, so Neil, will you help me with the banners right quick?
Yeah, hang on.
I'm doing mine first, so I'll go first.
Wait, which one is it under? Is it under?
Spidey Experience General.
Okay.
So my grade is a C- for both these issues. Pacelli's art, I should be excited about, and it's probably just okay to me. I feel like that I've never liked the way she's drawn 616 Spidey Eyes. Never liked it. It is one of my big irritants about her art. The faces and everybody else look fine.
I don't like her Aunt May.
Her Aunt May is off. It doesn't look right. The MJ Black Cat stuff, I would love to see her do a Black Cat book. Like if she came on as the regular artist of Black Cat.
I would have agreed with you if Justin Ponser was still alive. Not anymore.
Yeah, it's one of those things where I just don't think that she's found that inker that makes her work pop.
You mean colorist?
And yes, excuse me, the colorist too, because she inks her own stuff. She would also, I think, benefit from. And I look, I don't want to drag her down, but like to me, you look at her early work and her modern work, and it's to me less. There's a diminished quality to it. And Neil, you brought it up in the past, but I think Justin Ponsor not being the colorist has really hurt her.
Well, I also wonder if it's like just a lack of caring, because when you can tell there was a significant drop in quality from like her Avengers work, which she was doing the book in 2018 down to what was it Abrams Man.
Abrams Man, yeah. Well,
Abrams Man was terrible. Like as much as I love Pacelli, sorry Sarah, but your art in that mini blew.
It wasn't even the. Let me put it this way: art can elevate mediocre writing most of the time. Her art could not save the writing at that.
The art was good in the book.
No, I actually think that it got dragged down.
The only good part of the book was the artwork to me. Like, it had decent artwork. It was not her best though, and you could tell. Morbius being brought in on another issue 77. Fun fact, the very first issue of Peter Parker Spider-Man, the first arc in Peter Parker Spider-Man after the Clone Saga was a Morbius arc where Peter got bit by Morbius. Just so everybody knows.
That's right.
These two issues were okay. Morbius lost an arm. Why?
Nipple joke.
To make the nipple joke, to just like he got straight jobbed. I don't know if Mattis is still in the on the show. That's Absolution Network. Thomas is an old friend of ours from way back when. But Morbius got jobbed out. Straight up. Jobbed out. He was a non-factor. There was no threat. Like
the nipple thing is actually in the book. It's not a joke that Neil made.
Like they literally show like a Beyond Corp cleanup crew going like, "Ew, I found a nipple in here." It was so weird.
It's so bad. Like, I'm sorry. Like, Kelly Thompson was the one I was excited for most of the Beyond board. And
is it weird that like the one person who isn't actually part of the Beyond board is like the best part of it so far?
Yeah, I listen. To me, this was a mediocre issue.
I guess
rotating writers just doesn't work. It didn't work 10 years ago. It's not working now.
Also, Greg, give me a grade so I can put it in so I can edit it.
I haven't read the issue, so I really shouldn't.
Okay. I guess I'll take my grade next. I gave it a C. So I actually have a weird complaint. So one of the things I actually kind of liked about the Parker Industries stuff, and this is relevant, I promise, is that Peter was fighting villains outside of his usual wheelhouse. Like, they took advantage of the setting not being the same in order to, do something new, like fight the Zodiac. As dumb as the Zodiac, as dumb as the Zodiac storyline was. I was hoping with 75 that, considering how beefed up Ben is with all this new Beyond Corp tech and, all these gadgets and all this money backing him, that they would maybe have him fight something above his pay grade. But we're just getting generic Spider-Man stories again. And I feel like, bringing back Morbius, even though he's kind of had like an anti-hero arc in Vita Ayala's Morbius run, this just feels like a bit of a letdown, and we're just doing more Spider-Man stuff. Like, we had the UFOs last time. Why don't we have them fight, I don't know, the Zemnu or the Living Laser? Have some fun with the villain variety. Don't just go back to fighting Spider-Man villains.
That was one of the great things about Roger Stern's classical run. He didn't just use the same villains all the time. He brought in other villains.
Also,
remember,
sorry.
Remember, Zach doesn't want to do non-Spider-Man villains. Remember last time? UFOs is not a good thing. So thank you for driving home my point, Brian. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay.
Wait, where's Brian? I'm not.
Brian's.
I mean, Greg. I mean, Greg. Sorry, Greg.
Greg. Yeah, but like again,
Brian,
I just. Well, he's part of the rotating fifth chair. I have no attachment to UFOs. Like, I have virtually no attachment to Misty Knight and freaking Colleen Wig. Like,
but what I'm saying, Zach, is that, like, if they're gonna make us, watch Ben Reilly LARP as Spider-Man for 19 issues, they might as well have some fun with the concept. Instead, they're just going, here's some Spider-Man, and it's made even worse by the fact that it's Morbius. And in my opinion, Morbius only has 2 stories. Morbius wants to be cured, and Morbius bites someone. And here they try to do both of those stories at once, and they drop the ball on it hard.
Kevin's ears are burning. He might show up to fight you.
I don't give a shit.
We love you, Kevin.
I want to go. Hurry up.
All right,
hurry
go.
Up.
Here,
Sorry.
I'll use this.
You already do grade?
Oh, I did. I gave it a C. I'll pass the baton. I'll pass the baton off to you, little man.
Thank you. By the way, this layout looks great. So I missed this issue you guys reviewed, I assume. So
we combined this. We combined the issue.
Oh, we did. Perfect. Okay, I haven't read the today's yet. I just been too busy. For one, this arc has been so far really interesting. I think because it's really we've talked about it before ad nauseum a little bit. That this is Nick Lowe's story. Like, this is Nick Lowe's baby. Literal
Yep.
He's crafting this. He's it's like he's got all these different writers in. And Greg, man, I will respectfully disagree that I don't think it didn't work 10 years ago. The rotating writers, I just feel that I feel at that point people were already made up their mind about Brand New Day at that point, and I feel like there was times when it was great and there was times when it sucked. But that's like with any arc, with any character, it seems like it goes through ups and downs and lulls. But again, it's your opinion. I'm not saying you're wrong. For me, I feel like there was some great points in there too. I think Slott was a big reason for that too. I think he was the strongest when you had a rotating part of writers. I think Mark Waid and obviously Joe Kelly had some great stuff in there. Again, with Mark Guggenheim. So there was, I feel like, I do agree that sometimes it was jarring. Like the Bob Gale stuff was one of the worst Spider-Man stories I've ever read in my life. Oh God, Freak is, God.
Just swear.
You know what? I'll freely admit I went into BND with a lot of baggage, so maybe that's
and I want to say that for record. And when we do our eventual slot debates, Zach, those will be epic. And maybe they won't. Maybe there'll be the slot agreements when I'll be like, this sucks now. I don't like it, which is very possible. But the one thing I will say that I think Slott really shined when he was rotating in and out, and he had time to develop things a little bit better. And again, I don't hate Slott's arc completely. So I say all that to basically say that I think that so far what we've gotten on this small sample size, I've liked. I'm not going to be as hard on these issues as much as Zach is. And again, it's not saying Zach is wrong. I just don't think they're as bad. I will also say really quickly to Morbius's kind of like, one note thing. You're right when the wrong writer's writing him. Look at the 90s, and I forgot who wrote those comics. There's probably some no name. They were a lot of fun, and they really emphasized the horror elements, and they took them completely away from Spider-Man's mythos and put them, straight into the Ghost Rider, the Midnight Sun stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that was solid stuff. It wasn't great. I mean, I read it. It's super cheesy dumb, but it's fun cheesy dumb. So I really like that. That I like the character. So. He hasn't been written very well. I mean, honestly, and I don't. It wasn't like he was written great in the 90s either, but it's better than what he's written now. And I hate that costume. I'm so over this costume. Like, give me the freaking 90s like leather, like Michael Jackson bad outfit.
Oh, like the one that they like the Michael Turner Doctor Strange jacket. About right?
Yeah. Wait, are you talking about the Midnight Suns or what are you talking about?
I'm talking like in comparison to like Morbius vibes. If you want to do Morbius vibes, go with like that Doctor Strange Michael Turner leather jacket look.
Like, don't give me exactly the leather. Like it's back. I'm very partial to that purple black outfit from the 90s. I think that's a beautiful, honestly designed outfit, and I think it looks great. So I say all that to say that I think Thompson. I really enjoyed her Captain Marvel run. And I read a small chunk of her Black Widow, and I really liked it. I think she's a good writer. I really do. And I think I was very interested to see what she would do on Spider-Man. And I'm not disappointed. I think this is solid stuff. I like the Black Cat MJ stuff.
Not to interrupt, Paul, but I think you kind of said on a trend that like the Peter and MJ stuff is like the most interesting part of this entire run.
Yeah.
I don't agree with that, because this is why I'm going to go back to all this about the Misty and obviously like the White Dragon or Misty and oh my god,
Colleen.
I could not remember her name. White Dragon.
No, that's a different one.
Oh yeah. Okay. Sorry. But stop. But you have again Morbius, the UFOs, and the Beyond Corporation. It feels like they're building towards something. It's obvious they're building towards something, and then Monica wants in on it, and she's trying to figure it out. I think that's where I think Morbius ties into it. We just don't know how it's going to turn out, and that's what I'm in. Again, I could be completely wrong, but I think like the whole introduction of Morbius is on purpose. I think they're always trying to get Morbius. I think that's the feeling I got from this, and that he's going to play a bigger part. And this is his introduction into it. It's not just a kind of a random implant Morbius here for, shits and giggles and then see you later. I do feel that he's in he's going to serve a narrative purpose. And I don't know. I like the differences we're getting of this and these different characters, because I think if this was Peter, it would seem weird, but because it's Ben Reilly, I'm more accepting of it. So I feel that.
Yeah.
Well, I will say that Ben Reilly feels like the weakest part of this entire book. Like I know that you and I might disagree on that, but like even the Misty Knight and Colleen and Monica Rambeau stuff, as someone who is a huge fan of Next Wave Agents of Hate, it has a lot more impact for me than it does for someone like you, considering that you haven't read Next Wave.
Right.
Yeah,
so,
but I've read a bunch of Power Man and Iron Fist from back in the day, which Colleen and Misty are in, and like it doesn't feel too different from that. So I mean, everyone's gonna have like whatever. I think for me, Ben Reilly, what I like about this feeling, and this is just my opinion, and I'm a Ben Reilly fan. Well, not Clone Conspiracy. That's horrible. But
conspiracy. Okay?
Yeah. Exactly. Thank you. Real Riley fans, don't like it.
Yeah.
But I think with this, the difference why I like this, it feels like, again, you're taking that. Why I love serialized storytelling, especially mainly in comic books. You take these awful things that happen and you have to make it work somehow, and even you retcon it or whatever, get creative. I think with these two issues, what Kelly Thompson is doing with Ben Reilly, she's taking that personality of Ben, and you instead of being like just Peter 2.0, which I don't love that aspect either. What I love about what they're doing with this is that they're taking that whole idea of like, instead of being Peter 2.0 or being like awful Ben Reilly from the Clone Conspiracy. You're kind of splitting that difference, and I feel you're getting something that is you're getting a character that's trying to prove himself, and that's what's fascinating for me that I like about this, and that I think the clone really quick. I'll be finished in a second. I'm sorry. But the clone, from the 90s is not that person, and that you couldn't really tell the story with this and all the history we've got with Ben in his I think very up and down series with Peter David. This feels like a Ben Reilly that's trying to prove himself, and I do like that aspect of it. So that's where I think it works for me as a Ben Reilly fan, and using what they've come before and telling that story. And Ben is struggling being Spider-Man. He can be Spider-Man, but he's not the Spider-Man. And I think you're seeing that already in this. And I loved seeing that difference between him and Ben, or Peter and Ben, already.
Yeah, I'll say this, that the couple of interesting points about these issues. One, the Colleen and the whole mystery with Monica Rambeau showing up.
Yeah.
Photon
Captain showing
Marvel.
up.
Whichever name she's using right now.
Whatever name she's like you say. I thought that, okay, all right. There's that. I don't know if that just set up. It's just the setup is just for today's issue, or if it was to set up a larger plot point. I also think that the Ashley Kafka scene with Ben
that's important.
Yeah,
to
it
me,
is.
that's like Ben not remembering remembering the memory. I think is going to be something that's going to come up, because now it's one of those things where, does the trauma of everything that happened with Ben become a plot point in this series, and addressing it not in the way that, not in the anti-hero way, the way that Peter David did, but in the way that I think will fit in the tone and tenor of the character.
Right.
I think that Nick Lowe is a 90s comic fan. I think like you guys have said. So for me, I think that I agree with you that there is some interesting points with Ben going on. But it's one of those things where I'm like, okay, obviously these two issues kind of felt like that. Okay, Madam Danger is far more of a dangerous threat to Ben long term. She just comes across as unlikable.
That's kind of the point. Yeah,
I get that's kind of the point, but it just feels like there's no nuance to it. That there's a little mustache.
Just introduced.
Yeah. So can I just jump in here real quick? I think Zach's got something there where like Maxine Danger is meant to be without nuance, the evil corporate stooge of the Beyond Corporation.
Right.
In a weird way, she kind of reminds me of Amanda Waller, but not in a good way. Because every once in a while, Amanda Waller has nuance, and like eventually her actions come back to bite her in the ass, and we feel bad for her sometimes. Again, that sometimes is a very big one. But for here, the only interesting thing that really comes of this issue for me, aside from like the Monica stuff, is the ethics question. It kind of reminds me of the one episode of Star Trek where Worf gets his back broken by like a blue barrel, and then like they just decide whether or not they should kill Worf.
Right.
It kind of reminds me of that episode, but with a vampire bite instead. And that was kind of the only interesting part of Morbius being in this arc, I think. Was whether let's see what happens for the sake of science, and I wish they'd kind of delved more into that instead of just abandoning it.
Yeah, I thought it was weird
how quickly she changed her mind on it.
Yeah, well, one, not only that, but I also thought it was weird too that Ben was like referencing Peter's bite. That happened after the Clone Saga. Like
I imagine that Ben eventually, when he was in his like Jackal or Scarlet Spider phase, that he got a hold of some of the information.
Yeah,
I think I might be misremembering this, but I think that didn't he get bit by Morbius when he had the 6 arms, and that helped him get rid of the 6 arms? I might be
Yeah, no,
misremembering
yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah. That, yeah.
Okay,
It's been a
that
while.
may be the
I think,
okay.
yeah.
I think that's what he's talking about, maybe.
Okay.
'Cause he
So
would
yeah, I
know
think that's
that.
what he's referencing too.
so it's not a much of a continuity error. I mean, I to me, because I'm a '90s kid, I just instantly went back to that old
Sure.
chestnut. So,
Well, and I want to say too, I think that like we just got to know some of these characters, so I really think that like everyone can think what they want, but I think for me, let's be fair and let's see develop a little bit of what these characters are going to give us. Right now, they're setting that up to be the evil, bad, whatever. And I'm fine with that. Like, give me good versus evil, set me up like evil corporation. Like I'm fine with that. Like, I mean, it's something different in Spider-Man. It's as far as with Ben, but I think for me is what is her motivation? And being the lady who had to be
and that's weird because like if you've I'll spoil a bit of Beyond Corporation for you, or of Next Wave for you, but the Beyond Corporation, as established in Captain America and the Mighty Avengers by Al Ewing, shows that the Beyond Corporation is like a corporation of like multiversal like beings who just poke around the universe for fun. They just stick their dick in the universe and see what happens.
Right. Okay. See, I had never read that series, and or I had the first couple issues, but it just didn't really connect with me. So I thought Beyond was a whole Spider-Man, this new brand new thing, but that's actually been established before. Okay, I didn't know that.
It's like 16 years old now.
Oh God, it's been a long time then. Well, did it start in the Warren Ellis Next Wave stuff?
Yeah, that's where it started, and then like it was originally like its own separate thing, but then Al Ewing retconned it.
Okay, that's why you said
Captain America and the Mighty Avengers had Monica remember Next Wave.
So I think but again, maybe you're right, but I think there's got to be a reason for what she's doing, and the fact that again when she's like she was trying to like obviously kill or trying to figure out with Morbius whatever, and she does say at the point you're like, is she gonna let this person die? And then she goes in the last minute she kind of comes through, so I think there is something as far as driving this character, because if she was a multiversal being like you're saying, Neil, and again you may be right, and she had no real consequence, she wouldn't care. You know what I mean? So I think like again, I think she may not, but she's got to appear that she is for a reason. So there is to me that was a significant moment because she had to change her mind and keep that appearance of she's still or whatever. Like she's not as evil as we think she is, maybe, or she's trying to keep that appearance that she's not. But if she was by herself, she would make that call. So I think there is interesting things happening here. And if you're bringing the multiversal aspect that you're talking about, maybe you're talking about the fact they're trying to see if Ben's capable to be in a different universe.
Also, real quick, Venkman in the chat, I want to address this. So Venkman says whether ethics was about whether or not they should kill Worf is whether or not they should try a medical procedure that might kill Worf if it doesn't work. So the important part is like the first half of the episode when Worf is trying to get Commander Riker to kill him. And then Riker's like, it goes against my ethical code. And so I'm not going to do it. And so the doctor from, I think, the Daystrom Institute comes in and says, I have this new experimental procedure. And Worf, because if he's not going to be able to die, he needs to get that procedure to restore his own honor code. So that's kind of the core message of ethics.
Yeah.
So, okay, that's not important though. Do we want to do this issue now?
Let's do it.
Let me talk about my thoughts.
Yeah.
Adam, what's your grade?
Adam, do it.
I gave it a B. I gave this 2-issue arc a B. I'm bringing this down to earth from the grand cosmic schemes of the Beyond Corporation, back into Spidey's world. I think. So what did I like? I thought the writing and the art were pretty solid, but just not that exciting. I think. What's interesting to me about this story is how it's all going to go wrong in the end. And I think we're starting to kind of see that with like, oh, does the Beyond Corporation really care about Ben? And like Ben's mental health is basically deteriorating, but he's not quite aware of that yet, it seems. But it feels like that's going to play a very big part in the arc going forward, and Peter's probably going to have to come back. I mean, we know he's coming back, but anyway. The Mary Jane, Aunt May, Black Cat stuff, those little asides, those are all really interesting and well written. I actually think you guys are talking about the Beyond Corporation and Colleen Wing and Misty Knight, and I find this so interesting that this is all in a Spider-Man book, because it almost feels like it kind of shouldn't be, but yet here we are, and it is something different, and I can appreciate that. But this almost seems a little, I don't know, a detour, yeah. Well, the Beyond issue, especially the point issue. But anyway,
the point one issue.
Well, but just in general, I feel like this Beyond Corporation stuff, especially with how Maxine Danger doesn't really seem to care about Ben, actually, because it's like, well, I thought he was your corporate sponsored Spider-Man, and he's Spider-Man. He's your Spider-Man. It's like, oh, we'll just let him die and see what happens. See what happens if he turns into a vampire. But okay, good. She doesn't do that. So there's some weird method there. I don't know. This arc is just again, there's a mystery going on, and I'm really interested in seeing what they come up with to bring it all together, I guess. Yeah, I don't know. And also that at the end of the issue with Craven, his voice is totally off.
So, oh yeah.
I should have mentioned Craven. Like, what is this?
Great.
Even Jason Aaron got Craven right. Thompson, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, that was bad.
And I'm hoping that we don't have more of that with
Paul.
Yeah, he went to go do something. He said to invite him back in when he comes back.
But yeah, I'm interested in the mystery, and I'm interested in how this is going to affect Ben in the end, how it's all going to basically blow up in his face, unfortunately, because I feel like there's going to be that kind of an angle to it, but hopefully he will survive the experience. We'll see. I
think it's telling we haven't seen Kane yet.
I don't think
I don't want him here. I want him to be far away from this.
Maybe toward the end, but I don't know. I don't think we're going to see him, honestly. I don't think that's in there. I think he's in the rear view mirror.
Greg, do you have any thoughts on this?
He's off with Hummingbird. Let him be happy.
I feel like I haven't read them, so I really cannot opine at this point. I'm going to read them. I'll be caught up next time, but...
Okay, so let's move on to the Bay issue, because I also know Paul hasn't read it yet, so...
I'm actually excited for this issue.
All right, Neil, you have the recap, so...
Okay.
Well, Adam's great off. And
hang on, I got it. Okay. So, ASM 78.BEY, written by Black Cat writer Jed MacKay and art by Go-Go Power Rangers artist Eleonora Carlini, with Federico Blee as the colorist. So... Colleen and Misty are putting Ben through his paces in the Avengers Murder Mansion simulator. The simulation ends with Misty in a cheerleader's outfit shooting Ben in the head, or at least pretending to. And Ben asks, "What the hell is this?" And she goes, "Hell if I know, Colleen built the scenario." And they make a couple of references to the X-Men, which, if you remember, Colleen dated Cyclops briefly in the 70s. Deep Cut Boys.
Sounds like something Arcade would come up with.
But Ben kind of goes through his lesson learning to alert himself to threats, but he can get blindsided with enough threats going off all the time. And then meanwhile, Maxine Danger, the CEO of the Beyond Corporation, who we just met last issue, so why am I explaining this to you, calls away Misty and Colleen for a side mission. She explains that a robot monster codenamed Obsidian Star is tearing up the city. And so for whatever reason, instead of sending Ben away, because I guess he's got a contractually obligated boning time with Janine, they're getting deployed instead for good PR. And then it cuts back to it cuts a little forward in the future to them covered in blood and guts and saying that it absolutely sucked. And she kind of says, "Hey, I know that this kind of sucked, guys, but I gave you a really cool car and all the guns you could ask for." And they go, "Yeah, it was kind of a cool car." And it cuts back to the present when welcome back, Paul. Where Colleen's driving like an absolute maniac with a beyond klaxon on the top of the car. I thought that was a nice touch. I'll be honest. This is actually a really fun issue so far. But Misty kind of sets the precedent by creating a pocket battlefield, which, if you guys have read Morrison's Marvel Boy, is something that he can do. Is he can create his own 8x8 meter battlefield where physics are his domain. And so it's revealed that the pocket battlefield has malfunctioned because of Obsidian Star's exotic energy, which causes the simulation to expand and create the Avengers Murder Mansion scenario. And using their super duper Beyond Corp tech, Misty and Colleen begin cutting a swath through all the Avengers, including, I guess, Scarecrow, Scarecrow, Wasp, Hawkeye, Giant Man, I think 3D Man, Swordsman, Tigra, and I guess Doctor Strange.
What's Jonathan Crane doing there?
Being better here than he is in Titans. Big oof. So after Colleen cuts Iron Man's arm off, they find they begin blowing up they use an antimatter bomb to blow up the simulation. And the explosion, not for mass market, by the way. The antimatter bomb is not for mass market. So it cuts off all comms with command, and they blow up Obsidian Star. And in order to figure out what happened to the Obsidian Star, Misty starts punching through the guts, trying to find it. And they do a little white lie and say that they didn't find anything to Maxine Danger in their after-action report. And they use Beyond Corp logic of, well, we saved the day, and we didn't do this to get you an exotic power source. And they take a sick day to take the Obsidian Star, which they dug out of Obsidian Star's chest, to Monica Rambeau, who says, "I think I know just where this needs to go. Are we getting the captain again? Let's go, boys. Next Wave fans unite." That's it. That's the book. I gave it an A.
All right. Okay. Greg, you've not read this one, so I will get into my thoughts. This was an improvement. I think McKay needs to be a part of the Beyond board.
It's weird because he has more issues currently than most of the Beyond board does.
So I gave it a B plus.
I thought you said B and just a regular B in the chat.
No, yeah, my bad. I'm gonna give it a B plus. I thought this was a lot better than what we've gotten in the last couple issues. Of course, it's not an A because to me it's not a Spider-Man story. It's like a Spider-Man side quest. Like,
yeah. Can I put an asterisk next to my grade that if this is a Spider-Man issue, this fucking sucks. But if you're looking for a really good Daughters of the Dragon book, it's amazing.
Yeah, like it.
I didn't think it sucked.
It just, I can already hear some old friends, yelling about and gnashing their teeth over the fact that Ben's barely in it.
I think I know who you're talking about.
It's a side like comic. That's the whole.
And they
point
build
of
it as such.
It's
Now,
a one shot.
Now,
Yeah,
granted,
basically,
now real quick, in fairness, I would have preferred if this was just put under the Beyond imprint and not build it specifically as an ASM issue.
Right.
But on the other hand, I really like this issue, and if it hadn't been billed under ASM, I probably wouldn't have read it.
Well, and I think that it's trying to build out the world of Ben. Beyond
But it's
Ben.
not. I haven't even read it, and even if I hated it, I don't mind it because it's a dot issue. Those are stupid idea anyway. It might as well just be a one shot, you know. So I mean, I feel like if you're gonna complain about, what is it, ASM? It's like ASM point issue. Come on, if you're gonna argue over a point issue, come on, you got problems.
Well, and I think we've seen point issues done good and bad over the last.
The Gibbon issue is one of Spencer's all-time best.
Yeah, the Gibbon issue is one of the best issues that
Is
run.
Spider-Man in that? Barely. He's like
Yes.
with two
He's on the bookends.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But to me, I'll say this: it wasn't the character study of that particular issue was a singular character study. This was just a fun side quest that I hope will have more of a payoff, you know,
Right.
As we move forward. But yeah, it just felt like that they were kind of padding out, you know, because this was supposed to come out with 79, 880 today. But
It's weird because the story doesn't need to be. The story doesn't really need to be padded out. So if it's padding out, it's like that's an odd choice.
It's almost as if they wanted to make sure we got 3 issues this month.
Well, now, granted, I'm okay with them developing like these little side stories, especially considering that Jed MacKay seems to have like this really solid handle for whatever reason on these fairly niche characters. Like his Moon Knight is like one of the best books out on stands right now.
I'd like to see what he does with Pete and Ben.
I've in my banner, my call sign in the actual StreamYard is MacKay for Spider-Man 2022.
Yeah, because we know that there. But here's the thing, I'm along for this ride in general because I know there's a finite ending.
Mm-hmm.
So I think if I didn't know that there.
Can I say that too? I think it's kind of lame that we know that basically Lowe is like, hey, guess what? It's gonna be only a certain amount of issues, so don't worry. It's like, don't tell me when it ends. Like,
Well, no, but
but
Paul, I actually disagree because it gives me a set amount of time to invest in it. Like I wasn't happy with the Beyond like change, so it gives me a time frame for how much I have to invest in it before I can get back to the stuff I actually care about.
And I get why you do this as the palate cleanser because you went from mega long, super long run with Slot to pretty long run with Spencer. Now we kind of cleanse the palate, and then bam, we hit the ground running with whoever takes over in the build up to 900.
I think it's also because I said this. I think in the first season, the second season opener, that this is kind of like this is like, oh, hey, we know that Superior, we kind of trolled you guys. We're kind of being a little more straightforward with you this time.
Yeah, I agree with that. Doesn't insult.
I don't know. I understand everyone's position. I just, as a fan myself, I'd rather not be told. I mean, but at the same time,
it ruins the surprise.
It does, but also we shouldn't be used to the stuff like this because we always be told like it's a 6-issue arc or it's like but at the same time with something this long, I don't know why you have to announce like it's basically as long as like the panel, whatever you want to say that word is, the
penultimate
900th issue, basically. Yeah, thank you. I can't pronounce anything. I'm an idiot.
I do want to say at least they're not just lying straight to our faces like they did with Slot's run when he said like this Superior Spider-Man. He went, guys, this is never getting undone as long as I live, and then like in 31 issues it got undone.
Well, God knows how many people believe that.
No, but I'm just saying that like at least they didn't just lie to our face and say it's gonna last forever.
That's what I said.
That's what I'm saying. I'm agreeing with Adam.
Good.
And people fell for it when Slot said it, and even I was looking at them and I said, "Seriously, you really believe this?
You want to believe this?"
Yeah. Well, yeah, people did want to believe it.
Yeah, well, those people were ridiculous. Even I freaking love Superior Spider-Man. I will defend that.
Okay.
I think I'm always gonna love that. So.
Oh, we're moving Paul from the stream, guys. Bye.
No. And
Oh, wow.
Paul, I do want to say I am glad we have you here. It's nice that we don't all have the same views. It gives more diversity of opinion, and I think that's a good thing. I think that's a great thing.
Exactly. Yeah. No, I said this before on the show too. It's the thing is, the difference is what kind of make it interesting and fun, and you can have good conversations because even though you may not always agree, and that's why I always appreciate Zach and everyone on the panel. But Zach will listen to my differences and may not agree with them, but goes, oh, okay, I see your point. I can see where you like that. Like, instead of being like, no, Spider-Man has to stay in the 1980s, Roger Stern, or if it doesn't, then if Mary Jane is only this way, then it's stupid. You can't evolve. It's stupid. MCU Spider-Man sucks. Bleh. I mean, all that crap. Like, it's like, at least you can, like, if you can at least understand where someone's coming from, you don't have to agree with it, but can see where someone could like it, that's all you need to do. And talking about those things helps us educate each other in ways and understand and maybe even like see that point of view and maybe like change your mind, but I'm not saying it will or vice versa, but that's what makes it fun. And you should always welcome.
I agree.
Completely agree. Adam, did you give your grade?
Yeah.
Okay. So, yeah. So let's kind of circle back a little bit. Since Paul wasn't around for the beginning of the show, Paul, your thoughts on the trailer?
Okay,
didn't watch it.
I love that commentary.
Actually, can I say something?
Oh, sorry.
So go ahead, Paul.
No, all I'm only going to say is you're going to have to find out in the MCU fan show because I'm not saying anything until then.
This is like, know how this Blizzard showed up in Amazing Spider-Man? Go read Thor for fuck you.
I remember that issue.
I want to say
Amazing Batman. That was the
Bagman,
issue. It was the symbiote. I remember that exactly.
I want to say actually one thing that I forgot to say about the previous two issues, which is I appreciated that Janine is becoming dubious of the whole thing, because when we first see her drawn by Gleason in the arc before, you see
Silver Age
her,
girlfriend.
You see her in the penthouse suite, but she looks like she's miserable. She looks like she's like held hostage. So I like how, in the Kelly Thompson arc, she's talking with Ben before Ben has to go fight Morbius, and she's like, "Hey, this is a kind of like a gilded cage and all that." And I'm like, "Yeah, that's good that she's seeing that something's not right
well,
here."
If anybody would understand what being in a cage is like,
right?
It should be her.
It should be the person who was literally in prison.
She has been the like. I know I complained about her last episode a little bit, but like in this arc, I think these last few issues, you're right, Adam. She has done a real that's like, okay, there's now a point to Janine being back. And I think this is to show, Ben, do you realize that you're being manipulated here?
Being played, son.
Yeah. Like Ben's best quality is that he sees the best in everybody, even in their worst, because he understands the concept of humanity differently. But yeah, we lost Paul again. Damn it.
I want Ben in that case to run into this now without Sin, Norman Osborn, and remember being impaled in the back by a glider and see how he reacts.
That would be interesting.
I think it would have been hilarious for Ben to come and say, "Hey Peter, how is your daughter doing, by the way?"
Oh.
And then it's like, if we have like another Spider-Verse scenario where it's like, I'm misplaced.
Yeah.
Country road, take me home.
Yeah.
Oh, device is not connected. Paul, connect your mic.
He's working on it. So like I say, the fact is that I just, like the first couple of, like the two Kelly Thompson issues are okay. They're just okay. This one was a lot of fun. You're right. As an issue, I don't want to discredit it because of the fact that there wasn't enough Spidey.
I unironically think that this is gonna sound weird. I actually didn't like the Morbius arc at all. Like there's things that I was invested in.
Yeah.
Right.
But like they were like the small stuff.
Right.
It was the small little bits of character here and there that gave it.
Felt like we were getting from point A to point B with that arc. Is really what I felt like. Is that it felt filler.
We'll see.
Yeah.
I think this Beyond issue was an odd choice for a Spider-Man book.
Also, I don't like the way Pichelli
But-
draws Ben's head. I know that's a weird nitpick, but like the weird curly hair, it's kind of weird.
Yeah, but
That was kinda-
that's kind of consistent, like with what
Gleason kind of did that, didn't he?
No, he did the rolled back frosted tip douchebag look. I thought that was a way better
Yeah.
look for corporate Spider-Man.
I'll say this: the way that Pichelli did it kind of reminded me a little bit of how Jurgens did it in the '90s.
Mm.
Like it looked like the Zach Morris haircut a little bit more with Pichelli than it did with Gleason. So
I think the general consensus here is just that like we're not vibing with the Beyond Corporation arc here.
yeah, and I want to like this more. I do.
It's got
Like-
Ben.
Like
This is literally tailor made for
finally.
you.
This is like the again, and I remember. I'll bring up a crawl space story for a second. I remember when we got to the very end of it was on the first iteration of Satellites before Neil and I relaunched it. It was during the end of the Kane book, issues 24 and 25, and I was reviewing those, and I just ripped it to shreds because it was so painfully bad of a ending to the story that, like, and I remember I was going, but Zach, it's Kane, it's Spider Clone in Houston. Not realizing that I'd be living here, several years later, but it's like
I live here.
It's got your two favorite things, clones in Texas, and I was like, that's not good enough. And it's like, I mean, it was true. Like, yes, it has two of my favorite things, clones in Texas, but it doesn't mean that was good. And so that's kind of where I'm at with this. Like, everybody's like, oh, I'm far more excited about January's Ben Reilly's Spider-Man series by Demetrius than I am about anything about the Beyond Corporation.
Well, it feels like the plot's actually kicking up for Beyond in January. Like you got a Captain America team up with Peter. You got Black Cat, Captain America Peter team up. You've got like Ben getting the shit kicked out of him by Dr. Octopus.
Yeah, no, that like
it feels like it feels like. Oh, sorry.
That was one story that we were robbed of in the '90s.
Yes.
A true blue Otto versus Ben type of story, because of the fact that Web of Death took place so early on, and they wanted to basically job Otto out to Kane, which I will say was a mistake. I don't remember exactly what I said during CSC days, but like that was a mistake.
In a weird way, Beyond feels like a weird kind of what could have been for the Clone Saga, like Web of Death with Ben versus Otto. But like I'm actually kind of, there's a lot of things in this that I like. I like that Felicia has a more involved role in the story, especially because her solo series is ending, which sucks. But she's getting drawn by Carlos Gomez, so awooga.
Listen, I'm all for.
Oh, and Doc Ock is back in the Armani again. God tier suit.
That like that makes me
Hasbro, give it to us.
Yes.
I'm telling you, it's like Nick Lowe took my letter to heart. And
Yeah.
I'm gonna do this for I'm jokingly saying this, so please don't anybody that's listening to this and sense Nick Lowe. I'm completely joking here.
Speaking of Venkman called what we're saying in the chat.
Right.
Yeah.
Armani 90s Armani suit
With the gas station shades and God, this is my favorite Doc Ock costume and it's back.
I know a lot of people are asking Hasbro for a animated series Doc Ock in that orange armor. I want the Armani Doc Ock.
Yeah, give me the Armani Ock first, and then give me
the tentacles.
Well, in both cases, yes. I mean that should be, and you know what? I'll pay an extra $5, Hasbro, if you'll include an extra set of bendy arms. I'll pay for it. I don't care. Make it a little X figure. I don't care. But give me an extra set of bendy arms to put on my classic Otto. Like,
I will say one of the main positives I've had of this run has been the Arthur Adams covers. It's good. It's good now to finally have a consistent cover artist, because Spencer's run was all over the place with covers. Like at first it was Otley, then it was Ramos, then it was Otley again, then it was Rivera, and then like Hunted had no consistency, and then then Otley again for a while. Actually, and then Gleason. It feels good to have like Arthur Adams doing exclusively the covers.
I think Bagley was doing a lot of the covers, obviously. Too.
In the tail end of the run, he was carrying the covers.
I think the covers were mostly consistent. Actually, the artists for the books were doing the covers in the Spencer.
Not for that first half. Oh,
no, for the first half, yeah. Like Otley was doing the covers that he was doing art for. And
because remember the Syndicate arc.
Okay, but that was
that was
and the MJ goes away issue. But you know what I mean? Like at least here it feels like we have a very consistent and linear story being told on the cover.
Right.
And I do like the fact that the covers do reflect the issues. They're not just cheesecake covers that just tell
they're not just pinups of characters standing around or doing nothing. It shows what's happened. Like, in the first issue, it's Peter and Ben fighting the UFO or running away from the UFOs. Peter's in the hospital bed. This one, Ben's getting mogged by Misty and Colleen.
Yeah, at first I was gonna be like, that doesn't happen in the issue.
Morbius.
Like, wait a minute, yes it does, because that's Colleen's sword and that's Misty's arm. Because we all thought it wasn't that at first.
We thought it was like Robot Master.
Yeah.
I honestly thought it was Silverman again.
I was thinking that too. Yeah.
Because I
love Arthur Adams Felicia, by the way.
Spencer jobbed out Robot Master. Okay.
Yeah. Well, I mean, at least it was for plot reasons and not just like. At least like it had a reason, not just Robot Master being a jobber like usual.
Yeah, exactly. Did we lose Paul?
I think we lost Paul. Period. Shit.
Real quick, I saw Thalog got finally announced there. Greg?
Yeah, I've already pre-ordered him. He's a clone too.
He is. He is. I do remember that. I remember bits and pieces of Gargoyles from back in the day. So, kind of give everyone...
to hear Keith David be evil.
Right. So, obviously, we're going to be continuing. I'll talk a little bit about what
before we jump into that, since you mentioned it, we have Jamie Thomason coming back, not in the next episode of Voices, the one after that. He was on Spectacular Radio. He was the voice director for both shows, and he dropped a little tidbit. In the 90s when they were casting Gargoyles, Alfred Molina auditioned for Goliath.
Dang. That's cool.
Our good buddy Brian Levy he goes, Zach is very forgiving. It's foreshadowing without any other purpose. Hi Brian. I guess I haven't been really paying attention. Oh good lord. Va voom, Felicia.
Awooga.
I
haven't seen that cover until now.
You haven't seen it until you want me to screen share it real quick? Hang on, let me.
Please, I haven't seen it either.
Do we want to pull up for to kind of wrap the show up and talk about like the solicitations? Because has February's come out yet, or is it just
not yet? It's just January.
Yeah, let's talk about January.
For whatever reason, the January solicits have the wrong cover. It has the Corey Smith variant cover with, I think, Hollowell colors. I can tell it's Hollowell because it's shit. Why am I so mad?
You're always mad.
Okay, hang on. I'm sorry. I have to go through all of the Wolverine books. Jesus Christ. Also, Silk Book.
Of course. By the way, apparently there's a variant cover running around of the Spider-Verse, like from the '90s show. And
also Gwen's getting the Gwen verse. I want to kill myself.
why?
No, that was just a fan art.
No,
that I
it's real.
posted. No, I'm talking about
Marvel-
the '90s Spider-Verse thing that Zach said. That,
Oh, I thought
from
you were talking about the
finale
Gwen
of the-
verse. I'm like, Marvel.
No,
Marvel
that's real.
really-
No, but yeah, that art I posted in the Discord, Zach. If you're talking about that, the '90s show finale Spider-Verse guys, that's just fan art, which I thought was pretty good.
It was good.
So here's the to do. The Ben Reilly Spider-Man book launches in January. And then here's ASM 85. Ben's getting basically the crap kicked out of him by Dr. Octopus. 86 is generic Ben covered in spiders, man.
See, look, I think he's starting to unravel here.
Covered in spiders. Who gets that?
I did. I got the toys.
No, scorpions or scorpions covered in scorpions.
I know. I was making a covered in spiders, man joke.
Yeah.
Then 87. They posted the wrong cover. Let me go find the. I've got the cover. I just need to pull up my Photos app.
No, I'm covered in scorpions. Get them off of me.
Is it not loading? God, you gotta be kidding me. I update my graphics card driver once, and this is what happens.
Of course. So what does everybody think of the back wall? I decided to display the...
It looks good.
Looks great.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the background that I did.
Yeah.
Here's the Here's the
Well,
background for ASM 87.
Yeah, that's a great looking black cat.
That's what I was saying. Arthur Adams' black hat is awesome. I love like the gem studded choker.
Yeah, I agree.
All right, Paul's back.
I think it adds a lot of color to her character design.
Paul, we're kind of going
Hermann, speak up.
We're going through the solicitations for January.
Are we still recording the show?
Yeah. We
Oh
were.
my God.
Yeah. So.
Oh, hang on. I'm pulling back up the games radar thing.
Yeah.
This is what I'm looking forward to: a Black Cat Mary Jane Beyond one shot.
Yes.
Where they team up.
Okay.
She holds back.
I'm
Sabretooth, no one cares. Silk ongoing. I beat the mini trend boys. Ben Reilly BTFO'd.
This is what happens when I give you a little bit of power.
What?
Let's be honest. Robbie Thompson saved that character from the scrappy heap.
Yeah.
No, yeah. As someone who's a fan of Snoke, I don't.
Come on.
No, that initial arc, dude, was bad.
That was gross.
It was bad.
It was bad. All right, it was bad.
Wait, the slot stuff or
The slot stuff was gross.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the first Thompson arc. I'm going to kill all of you.
No. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the slot stuff. The slot stuff was bad. So
yes, Silk's getting a new I think it's an ongoing because it doesn't have like a all the announcements didn't have like a of number.
Yeah.
So I think it's an ongoing. Hell yeah!
Sweet.
I can't stop winning.
There you go. All right.
And that's it. I think that's really all the Spider-Man stuff we've got.
Nice. So, whenever the February solicitations come out, we'll talk about it too.
Oh, there's Venom.
No one cares. It's Brian Hitch. You think this A stands for France?
Wow.
That's an Ultimates reference for those that don't know. The fact is,
I loved it.
Yeah, I know.
There's an entire generation of like new fans that may not know that the
Ultimates ever existed.
Yeah. Like,
I'm fine with
Or
that.
the Ultimates is the reason why the Avengers probably movie even exists.
right.
Unfortunately.
It was like the proof of concept.
Except the movie was so
Stop
much
it.
better because
Stop
they weren't
it.
acting like complete
It's not-
assholes.
Mark Millar, or Miller, whatever the hell his name is, he did
Miller.
something that I think was really important. Yeah, Miller. He did something that was really important for Marvel as far as creating a revamping the Avengers, not because they needed saving.
Yeah, but it was
not
bad.
like because. Maybe in retrospect it hasn't aged as well, but back in the day, like it's what the company needed. I mean, I'll defend it. I think Mark Millar's a good writer.
Yeah, do you know who I like Mark Millar's Spider-Man Marvel Knights run. I like that a lot. But
Marvel Knights is like an oddity because it's like the one thing where it doesn't try to go absolute edgelord, and he actually tries to tell a story.
yeah.
Oh, and he was also trying to use continuity too. I mean, he actually consulted with the Spider-Fan guys.
Yeah, but as far as I'm concerned, when it comes to Avengers reinventions for new generation, and Zach is going to agree with me here, I'm sure. Josh Fine, Christopher Yost, and Frank Parr together with the Earth's Mightiest Heroes show.
I
Dude,
will.
I saw that third season outline that he posted on Twitter. Unironically, I think if it was made today, it would be absolute Kino, and no one can tell me otherwise.
Like, I would love to see them. Like, to me, sorry, Spec fans, but
It's never happening.
No, it's
Spec's
not.
coming.
It's not.
And by the way,
no, because I've got the scars after I've told people that it's not going to happen.
At least Earth's Mightiest Heroes has a chance because it wasn't involved in corporate fucking.
and it's owned by Disney, and everything was owned by Disney, and
Everything is owned by Disney.
well, no, not just that. Like, they own everything from top to. It's not the same thing as Spec because Sony's not involved.
Because Sony also has a distribution. I forget which. It was distribution rights, right?
Well, they own everything. They own the designs. They own the
actual show itself.
Yeah, they own the actual show. Marvel just gave their blessing. They told them what they can and can't do. But Sony was the one that put the capital up to make the show. And yes, the merchandising agreement that they made covered season 1. But when Sony basically said, we need cash, so we're going to get, I think it was like 255 million in cash from Disney to basically sell the animation rights, or excuse me, the merchandising rights.
Disney wasn't involved yet.
Yes. Well, this was right before Disney acquired them. And yeah, you're right. You're right, Greg. And so when they sold the merchandising rights off, they didn't realize that once Disney acquired them, they would have been making $250 million average a year passively on Spider-Man merchandise. Like
because of the Spider-Man movies not moving units. Because they marketed it as really quick, Greg. Because they marketed it as a realistic Nolan film, and they wondered why aren't kids buying these toys? I wonder why, you idiots. Oh.
Yeah. Also, Marvel actually sued Sony a few times over Spectacular while Spectacular was being made.
Yeah, that was something that we talked about on the last episode of Spec Radio. The amount of lawsuits that were going on and behind the scenes that most people didn't know about because they didn't get to the point where, because most of them were all of them were settled out of court. But yeah, it was an interesting time.
There were supposed to be, each of the episodes would be 3 or 4 episode arcs, which were supposed to be on DVD later as movies with additional scenes that were written, animated, and voice recorded. I've seen some of these cut scenes, and then Marvel said, "Oh, I know that was the original plan. We're taking it to court. You can't do that. If it wasn't on TV, you can't sell it on DVD."
Yeah. And so, but I'm really surprised, Greg, that we've not seen a 4K release of both new animated series and Spec. I'm really surprised we've not seen that being announced for the holiday season. Like, super surprised. I would have
next year.
I would have expected them to do that just to get on the hype train. Well, and they could do it, I guess, to coincide with the release of Into the Spider-Verse, I suppose, or Across the Spider-Verse.
I would hope they would put up new extras, but I doubt they will.
Did we cover that topic, that news story, where they actually finally announced that the title will be Across the Spider-Verse?
No, we didn't.
Is that really like news? That's more just kind of like.
Well, I mean, it's an announcement for the sequel.
True. I guess I'm mostly just kind of thinking like. Yeah. Okay.
And yeah, they did confirm the date too. That is true, because we didn't have a date on it yet. We just
how long has it been? It's been like 3 years, right? 4. It's been
It'll
4
be-
years since the first movie.
Yeah.
Holy shit!
Well,
COVID just makes things feel like it's been longer.
COVID played a role in that. I mean, let's be real. But it would have came out this. I think it would have came out this year. But I think it was originally supposed to come out this year, like around this time, and then it got obviously everything got pushed. But yeah, so like I say, I'm looking forward to everything. Just to kind of give okay. What's going on with Forgotten Era?
Good question. I'd like to know myself. No, here's what's going on. I'll answer for Zach. Real life isn't getting in the way. He's been moving. He's been doing a lot of things working. So, I mean, we've talked about these new shows we're going to do. We're eventually going to do them. It's a minor miracle I got Voices up and running as quickly as I did with as much as I did. But it's we'll get there. Just let Zach settle in and
yeah, there's been a lot that's going on. I want to do it. If I'm going to do it, one, I want to do a true finale for CSC. That's number one. Number two, the way I want to do it, I don't want to do it the way I did CSC. If I'm going to do it, it's going to be something that is more in line with a history show. And so there's some things that I'm working on that I'd love to do. I don't know if I can do it. And eventually I'll default back to the CSC model, so to speak, if I can't get things to line up the way I want them to. But to me, it got put on the back burner because one, I wanted to get Voices, out of pre-development. Two, I want to get ASM Classics second season out of pre-development. And then, obviously we're going strong with Make My Mayday and this show. So then I could, and I just want to line some certain things up because there's the thing about the Forgotten Era is that I want to get more info of what was going on at the time. And I've been trying to do research on it, and I want to try to be as accurate to that because we had the Life of Riley thing available to us. And so it really helped us tell the story of why the Clone Saga is the way it was. But we don't have that for Forgotten Era. And so that's where I'm trying to get all, I think I've read that part of Untold Story, Marvel The Untold Story, 4 times because it gets very condensed towards the 90s and the buyout and all that stuff. Like the point from the Ron Perlman stuff through the end of the book is super highly condensed. Like you could have done 2 volumes and done probably a volume of everything from, let's say, McFarlane and them leaving for Image through the acquisition of Disney. The Disney.
Yeah, acquisition. I noticed in that book, and I liked that book a lot, but when it came to people who were still with the company, it got a little bit
vague.
Yeah.
I would call it vague. The parts with Jameis, though, I think were very illuminating for me. I wasn't that was right before, right towards when I was starting to get really active in online. But I'd heard stories about Jameis. And so, yeah. So, like I say, we'll talk about that more whenever it's time. But that's kind of where I'm at in the development. There's some things I want to do on this show first. If I can line some things up, this show and make
slot debates.
The slot debates I want to get done.
I'm trying to get those done for a year.
Yeah,
I know. It's just one of those things where it's just having the time.
Hey,
right
wife.
it is. Also,
we got all the time in the world.
I have a wife.
Yeah. Here's the thing. Also, launching a
My
new show
wife.
Yeah, launching a
By
new show
why?
is actually difficult and time consuming. I mean, I'm really thankful to this man for taking the time to help me launch Voices when I did. I mean, if it probably would have taken even longer if not for the fact that all this merch started coming out for the first time in years, and I decided, okay, attention is being shined on its property. I want to strike now while the iron is hot.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Reject
So-
wife, return to slot debates.
So, like I said, more to come. Just stay patient. We'll get it done. CSC sooner than later. But I think we're gonna wrap this episode up on that. Gentlemen.
Oh, shit, I can't do my dance. Okay.
All right, hang on. Before I'll do the closing page and I'll focus. All right, there we go. We got Neil doing his rubber arms dance.
Love that dance.
Thank you for watching. You've been listening to this episode of the Spideydude Experience. We'll see you next time. But be sure to follow us on our various social medias at Spideydude Radio on Twitter. You can also follow me on my personal page at Spideydude. At Spideydude Network on Facebook, at Spideydude Radio Network on YouTube, Instagram as well, at Spideydude Network. Of course, our Patreon page, patreon.com/Spideydude Network. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. And you can leave us, if you want to be a part of the show, of course, you can leave us a voicemail, 818-925-6631. Just tell us what show you are calling about, and we'll play it on the respective shows. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. And to all of you, have a safe and wonderful day, and we will see you next time here on the Spideydude Experience, powered by YouTube and the Spideydude Radio Network at spidey-dude.com.